rights activists, some church groups, some local police chiefs, and some business groups. But Rauner has refused at least twice to state where he stands on the bill. Rauner has mostly avoided commenting on sanctuary city or immigration questions, except to say there should be a comprehensive federal policy. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A man from the North Center neighborhood is warning neighbors after he was robbed on his way to work. Brody Gordon says he was simply walking out of his garage yesterday morning when a white van drove up. The passenger pointed a gun at his head. Gordon gave the suspect his wallet and cell phone. His stuff was found nearby. Uber and Lyft are offering refunds to customers who turn to the ride-sharing services due to the CTA train line problems. Some CTA trains on the north side were stopped on Tuesday because of that. People who normally take the trains turned to Uber and Lyft. That caused prices for the ride-sharing services to skyrocket. While Uber and Lyft say they're in the process of refunding customers, drivers who profited will not be affected by the refunds. Good news if you don't have a place to stay in southern Illinois for the next week's eclipse. Forest Service yesterday opened 3 campgrounds in the Shawnee National Forest. In all, 100 new campsites will be available. But let me give you a warning. When the Forest Service of the United States calls a campsite primitive, they mean primitive. Reds outslugged the Cubs 13-10. Rangers rallied to beat the White Sox 9-8. The news, a service of Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care users say that it's like the Hoover Dam, but for their armpits. Well, if you can hold back that much sweat, it must be good. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. 5:08 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This summer, everybody is talking about one person. And on August 22nd, we want to hear what you have to say about President Donald Trump. Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump as he welcomes Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson to the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Join the debate as they discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly moments of the Trump administration. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. Sponsored in part by Storlock and by Best Dental Group.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh, I had my joints all ached. My sciatic nerve was really bad. Like 10 hours, my eyes were so tired and heavy and almost burning. And then when I woke up in the morning, there was this nagging pain. I mean, it hurt to open them. And just in a week, I don't have the nagging pain anymore. My joints stopped hurting, and I'm in wood season. I'm logging wood right now, and I'm not hurting. So that's, amazing for me. I'm usually really suffering. It's pretty effective. And so now, like I said, my husband and I are both taking it, and he even said his joints aren't aching as much, and he's feeling better.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore, the chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch. It looked awful, but thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The latest on that morning commute with Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Outbound Ryan Expressway. The local lanes are closed from Garfield to 63rd after an overnight shooting and ongoing investigation. Traffic's at a standstill from 47th to Garfield and the express lanes are the only option. But to get to that point, you have to get past 34th Street where there's now a crash. This is in the express lanes, blocking 2 right lanes. Prepare to slow down there. Outbound Eisenhower. Check that. Inbound Eisenhower. Stop and go North Avenue to St. Charles. Crash in the 2 left lanes. That right now is just a 5 or 6 minute delay. Southbound I-55, heavy due to road work. 53 to Veterans Parkway with 2 right lanes blocked. Tri-State northbound at the 83rd Street toll. 2 right cash lanes are blocked with a collision with a police bus and 2 semis. And there's the CTA with a bridge defect reported at Clinton. Pink Line service is disrupted there in the West Loop area. Green Line trains are running the inner loop tracks. Traffic is a service of Cece's. Now at Cece's, party with the new stuffed crust trio. Bacon stuffed crust and new grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Join the original with pepperoni. The stuffed crust parties on the unlimited buffet for just $5 and change. Cece's, prices may vary for a limited time only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, breezy with sun and clouds, high 82. Tonight becoming cloudy. A shower or thunderstorm around, low 64. Then tomorrow, clouds give way to some sun, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
69 at O'Hare. Next news at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the latest on that terrorist attack in Barcelona yesterday, 13 dead, more than 100 people injured, 3 suspects in custody, but not the driver.
Right, that's the thing. They cannot find the driver, which I thought at first that they had him cornered in a shop, and then it wasn't him. I mean, all of this was going on so quickly that... this morning they're still looking for this driver who, by the way, not only rented the vehicle that he used to kill those 13 people with, but he has rented a second vehicle. And that's what they're looking for him this morning.
They have his brother in custody, though.
They're of Moroccan descent. That's what CNN was saying.
Right, 2 suspects. There's 2 of Moroccan descent and 1 Spanish national. That's the reports I've seen from the British tabloids. None of them, however, were the wheelman. None of them were the driver. And then also, in the early morning hours, 5 terrorists shot dead in Cambrils, which is a resort town about 70 miles from Barcelona. So that was a thwarted terrorist attack that seemed to be connected to the successful terrorist attack, although those specific connections I haven't seen. ISIS taking credit for the terrorist attack that left 13 dead and more than 100 injured.
And then the night before, there was a house explosion 17 miles away from the Barcelona attack, and they believe that is possibly related because they found 20 propane tanks.
Right, and of course, it's interesting the reaction to this in the American context. So to me, when I saw this come over the transom, I immediately thought of the bombings right before the election in Madrid in March of 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those? Yeah. I mean, there were more than 200 were killed. And then, of course, they turned the government over to the socialists, the Surrender Caucus, so right after that terrorist attack, saying, please eat us last again. We're getting a lot of that now. So interesting. But that's not what everybody connected it to. Now, there have been 6 of these, vehicle attacks in Europe this year.
Yes, Stockholm, London, Nice, France. That was one of the most deadliest ones. And Berlin.
So
and it goes on and on.
So it was interesting to listen to CNN's coverage of this Jim Sciutto, their national correspondent, talking to Wolf Blitzer about this and providing some context and whether this was a copycat of other attacks. Take a listen.
And it's something that not just Spanish authorities, but U.S. authorities have been aware of. But the final point I would make, Wolf, is just this note that in light of that at the top of the list, it has had a presence, and it's something that not just Spanish authorities, but U.S. authorities have been aware of. But the final point I would make, Wolf, is just this note that in light of the uproar of the last several days, 5 days apart, you have white supremacists in Charlottesville use a vehicle to kill, and here you have attackers, at least following the modus operandi of terrorists, using vehicles apparently to kill as well. And it's those shared tactics that should be alarming.
Yeah, and there will be questions about copycats. There will be questions if what happened in Barcelona was at all a copycat version of what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, even though there may be different characters, different political ambitions. They use the same killing device, a vehicle going at high speed into a large group of pedestrians.
Do you have any problems with the suggestion of what this may be a copycat of? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line. So Islamic terrorists are copycatting what happened in Charlottesville on Saturday? That's what's happening?
Well,
that's the takeaway?
My friend Jim Sciutto is a bit of a stretch for him to compare. I think what he was trying to say is that they're using vehicles to kill instead of firing assault rifles or, arming themselves to the nine. They're arming themselves with vehicles.
No, I don't think that's what he was doing. And I don't think that's what Wolf Blitzer's doing. I think the directive at CNN and in other newsrooms, keep Charlottesville going. Keep Charlottesville going. Connect anything to Charlottesville that you can connect to Charlottesville. Islamic terrorism sprung up since Saturday. And the use of a vehicle. They are copycatting a one-off white supremacist. How many attacks just this year using vehicles? And they got the idea from that scum in Charlottesville? It seems to me that there's an effort here to equate the threat of Islamic terrorism with the threat of white supremacy and white supremacist violence. To make white supremacists bigger than they actually are, both in terms of raw numbers as well as the threat that they pose to civil society, even the threat of violence they propose.
Well, they're both deadly acts. I mean, one was domestic terrorism, one was Islamic terrorism.
This is an order of magnitude question. I understand that in both instances, people were murdered. This is not to condone or to suggest that one is better than the other. It's all evil. I'll say again, so there's no confusion, so we can get past that sophistry. Specific evil should be condemned specifically, and anyone who uses violence to advance a toxic ideology, or even a non-toxic ideology, actually, that's evil. Okay, so now we got that set aside. What is CNN trying to do by suggesting that the history of violence and the history of using violence to commit a terrorist attack, to advance a toxic ideology, and the history of doing so with vehicles mowing down pedestrians started Saturday? You think that's just a happy coincidence? There's no agenda there. I don't. The wall-to-wall coverage, the condemnation Olympics, the hysteria over white supremacists in this country, which I'm still, waiting for the data to give an order of magnitude. We talk about we talk about kind of the percentage. What is the raw numbers? How big is the threat of radical Islamic terrorism? We try and get to the bottom of that all the time. Academics research it. We make the point all of the time that it is a small fraction of Muslims worldwide, but of course, a small fraction of 1.5 billion turns out to be a pretty big number, and nobody can quite pinpoint it. Well, give me a ballpark on white supremacists, not just here, the world over, since we're talking about global threats to freedom.
I don't know what the numbers are.
Well, right, but you want to talk about the number of? I mean, again, this is a dismal business, but that characterization is so stilted, and it is. I say again, I believe this is an attempt to make the threat of radical Islamic terrorism on par with the threat of domestic terrorism by white supremacists, and that is just a
I don't think it's that irresponsible.
An equivalency that it. How so?
Because they both use vehicles to kill people in the past 24 hours or 48 hours. Excuse me.
Okay, so let me try this again. There's an order of magnitude issue. I'm talking about the nature and the size and the immediacy of the threat. Radical Islamic terrorism, white supremacy, and terrorism associated with white supremacy. They are equal threats in 2017 America, in the 2017 Western world. Is that what we're to understand?
Well, they feel empowered because of what President Trump said, the neo-Nazi groups, and they're planning more marches. And I'm sure not everybody in that group is going to use their vehicle to plow down people. But you can rest assured that the next event that they have is going to be, they'll probably call in the National Guard in whatever state that they have their event in.
So you think that they pose the same level of threat to freedom in the Western world, radical Islamic terrorism, and terrorism in advance of white supremacy?
No, I think ISIS is a little more advanced. And white supremacists are the JV, and the varsity team is ISIS.
Yeah, the JV, really? You want to go to data? Do you have any data to do a little comparison, contrast to the number of radical Islamic terrorist attacks? The body count associated with them?
Compared to how many Klans members in the past have killed people?
No.
Or neo-Nazi groups?
I'm sorry. We live in 2017 America, not 1920 America. So you have to address the threat today.
Okay.
So that's what I'm asking for. What's the threat assessment? They're equal. 312-642-5600.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Coming up, your phone calls 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. Forecast for today, it's going to be breezy. We're going to have sun and clouds, a high of 82 degrees. Tonight, a shower or thunderstorm. And for the weekend, for the Chicago Air and Water Show, it looks great. Saturday, some clouds, a high of 83. And on Sunday, plenty of sunshine, even warmer, a high near 90. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Outbound Ryan Expressway traffic is jammed. 47th to Garfield, where the local lanes are closed for police investigation. Early morning shooting there on the south side. There was a crash at 35th as well in the Express. That is now gone. Inbound Eisenhower. Heavy North Avenue to St. Charles. Crash in the two left lanes. 36 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound Fond at 29. Northbound Tri-State. 83rd Street toll. Crash at the toll plaza. Two right lanes are blocked in the cash lanes. This is a collision involving a pace bus and two semis. Oakbrook Terrace. 83. Closed between 22nd and Hodges. There's a crash there. The CTA Pink and Green Line service is shut down at Clinton due to a bridge problem. The Pink Line trains coming into Chicago, into downtown, go only as far as Clinton. Then there are shuttles going into the loop. Green Line service shut down between Ashland and Clark Lake at the loop. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, our digital platform, original content that enhances what we do each morning, content we produce here. Such as long-form interviews with our Against the Current series. This week featuring the Senator Ted Cruz. You want to check that out. Podcast for Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, focused on the school funding impasse this week, as well as 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries from yours truly, 2-minute warnings and dollars and cents commentaries from Pat Hughes at Illinois Opportunity Project. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic interviews this week the question of government-run healthcare, single-payer healthcare, as well as our new series, Heart of the Matter, that features professional women speaking colleague to colleague about the salient issues of the day. You can find it all at upstream-ideas.com.
If you did not purchase health insurance coverage during the 2017 open enrollment, I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time during the year. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. If you are between the ages of 19 and 64, you are automatically paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. If you are a non-smoking 50-year-old male or female living in the city of Chicago, the monthly premium rate for a 100% tax-deductible health savings account PPO plan would be $590 per month. But I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity benefit and lower your monthly premiums down to approximately $240 per month. To see if you qualify or for more information, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
Depression, with all the drugs and side effects, the endless counseling, the frustration with life and relationships.
The war is over. You win.
In a few short weeks, your life will change.
It's TMS therapy.
Over 1 million people have been treated, and the results are nothing short of outstanding. It's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare.
Most drugs and other treatments just mask the depression.
TMS treats the cause, so you can win the war with your depression. Remission or cure.
Depression gone.
Get a free consultation at one of the HPR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin. Ask questions.
For you or someone you love, safe, revolutionary, effective treatment for depression.
Let depression recovery begin. HPR centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
Schrank Smoke & Gun is excited to announce their zero tax deal for all store-owned firearms, ammo, and accessories in August. The price you see is the price you pay. Plus, AM 560 listeners get a free box of range ammo with all firearm purchases. You already know Schrank's has Lake County's largest selection of new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, and full gunsmith services. And that in Schrank's humidors you'll find a great selection of your favorite cigars. But this August offer is huge. Zero tax on all firearms, ammos, accessories, and a free box of range ammo when you purchase a firearm. Find out for yourself why Schrank's is the firearm store generations of customers trust. Visit smoke.gun.org or call 877-662-4034. Like Schrank's on Facebook and keep up with Schrank's valuable series of employee product and service recommendations. Schrank Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, take a couple of your calls on this question. Does CNN have it right that perhaps the terrorist attack, the Islamist terrorist attack in Barcelona yesterday, copycat of Charlottesville? That's where the Islamofascists just recently discovered the use of vehicles to carry out their evil, even though there's been 6 similar attacks this year alone.
In Europe.
Casper in West Chicago, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning, Dan.
Morning.
Good morning, Amy.
Hi, Casper.
Big fan of you. Well, I think we don't need CNN to remember us what happened in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Because the president is remember every day what happened and everything that have to be with that, with those statements in the tweet about the status of Washington and Lee and the pigs bullets, all that stuff. And I think the real problem is the president, and the real thing is the failure of Mr. Kelly to try to control him, and he don't understand that.
Okay.
That's all I want to say, and I think the big problem is the president, not CNN.
Okay, thanks for the call, Casper. I don't know, though, what the president has to do with the attack in Barcelona, but okay, thanks for the call. Dawn in Des Plaines.
Good morning. Hello?
Yeah, good morning. You're on, Dawn.
Hi. Amy, you're driving me nuts. I understand that, you're trying to play the fence here, but it's very clear what CNN was saying. They're not equaling, death by vehicle. They're saying that there's a copycat here. And if there's any copycat, it's these idiot racists who have copycatted the terrorists. Because like Dan said earlier, there's been 6 other things that have gone on, 6 other murders by vehicle by terrorists. You're driving me nuts. I love you, Amy, but you're driving me nuts.
Thanks for the call, Dawn.
So that guy at Charlottesville copied what the terrorists were doing instead of vice versa.
Perhaps, but I mean, the larger issue is the threat assessment. Terrorist activity by white supremacists in the Western world versus terrorist activity by radical Islamists. They're the same? We'll pick that up at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
69 degrees, and as Dan and Amy have been talking about with you this morning, Spanish police are on the hunt for even more terrorists. They appear to have thwarted yet another attack, planned, they say, by a cell along the coast just south of Barcelona, killing 5 suspects not long after an attack in Barcelona left 13 dead yesterday and over 100 injured. That van plowed into a crowd of pedestrians. This woman describes the chaos that she saw.
We heard what sounded like gunshots, and we saw hundreds of people rushing towards us. And, everyone is running, so we just started to run with them.
The driver remains on the loose. According to investigators in Spain, police believe the would-be attackers stopped in the latest incident we first referred to were linked to the attack in Barcelona, as well as another explosion this week near Spain's second-largest city. President Trump convenes a national security summit at Camp David. The North Korean nuclear crisis and Afghanistan will top the agenda. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says a military option will not be the preferred pathway on North Korea. In a State Department news conference, Tillerson said U.S.-led efforts are focused on getting North Korea to engage.
And it is first and foremost, as you have seen, to undertake a very concerted, deliberate campaign of exerting pressure on the regime in North Korea.
Tensions over the North's nuclear program this week have eased. The Navy is punishing nearly a dozen sailors for a deadly collision off the coast of Japan in June. The commanding officer of the USS Fitzgerald and other senior officers are being removed. The former CEO of Uber is firing back in a lawsuit by investors who accuse him of fraud. Travis Kalanick filed court papers yesterday accusing a venture capital firm, Benchmark Capital Partners, of making public and personal attacks. The Secret Service this morning is investigating a Missouri Democrat who said on Facebook she hoped President Trump would be assassinated. St. Louis Post-Dispatch this morning reports on State Senator Maria Nadal, who wrote Thursday, "I hope Trump is assassinated," end quote. She has since deleted that comment and apologized. Missouri politicians from both parties condemned the writing and called for her resignation. Leaders in Cook County say they're back in the good books of federal food stamp managers. The county says it has fixed a problem with the Cook County soda tax. Federal prosecutors have incriminating recordings in their extortion case against a top Teamster union boss. Governor Rauner expected to announce today whether he'll sign a bill that would put limits on what local police can do to help immigration agents. And there's a new free dating app being called Tinder for Teens. It's raising some eyebrows today. Yellow, YELLOW, is targeted at teens from 13 to 17. It already has over 1 million downloads. Many parents are concerned, though, because the actual age of the user is never verified. Reds outslugged the Cubs 13-10. Rangers over the White Sox 9-8. And the Bears continue preseason play against the Cardinals tomorrow. The news, a service of Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care users say they don't know how it works, but it gets the job done. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at a local retailer. 5:36 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next. on AM 560.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Mike Gallagher Show.
This has been a ridiculous few days in this country. It's sad. It's infuriating. It is heartbreaking. The loss of this young life was so needless and absolutely wasted.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You've heard me talk about my friends at Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. They're well known for excellent customer service, including custom designs, jewelry repairs by their on-site expert craftsmen. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff always ensures that you feel like family. Right now, they're offering a special family incentive for everyone. 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. You mention my name, Mike Gallagher, and get this exclusive offer. Roland's Jewelers has a large selection of beautiful engagement rings, and they're a direct diamond importer. Take advantage of wholesale prices on quality loose diamonds, as well as fine jewelry from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon G., John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. Don't forget to tell them Mike Gallagher sent you. You'll get 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. I want you to visit RolandsJewelers.com or call 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
5:37 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Like the outbound Ryan, traffic's jammed, solid 47th to Garfield. The express lane is closed in the local lanes, Garfield to 63rd, after an overnight shooting near 59th Street. Now, there are heavy delays, though the express lanes are open there. Inbound, it's slow starting at 35th, 17 minutes 95th to downtown. Edens to Kennedy, looking good right now. Eisenhower inbound, bottled up York to St. Charles. Crash in the two left lanes. It's now 45 minutes Thorndale to downtown, outbound 29. On Stevenson, it's a 2-minute delay, Pulaski to Lakeshore Drive. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 18. Northbound Tri-State, heavy 95th to 87th with a crash in the two left lanes. An earlier collision at the 83rd Street toll is cleared. And there's the eastbound Reagan tollway after Highland crash in the left lane. CTA Pink and Green Line service is disrupted right now in the West Loop. There's a raised bridge. Inbound Pink Line trains only get to Clinton. Green Line service shut down between Ashland and the Loop. Traffic service of Cece's. Now at Cece's. Party with the new stuffed crust trio, bacon stuffed crust, a new grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Join the original with pepperoni. The stuffed crust party's on the unlimited buffet for just $5 and change. Cece's prices may vary for a limited time only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Breezy and pleasant. We'll have times of clouds and sun today, high 82. A shower or thunderstorm around overnight, low 64. Clouds in the morning give way to afternoon sun and a high of 83. Currently 68 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, it's interesting, the reaction to the Barcelona terrorist attack and the implications of that on public policy. How that's treated, what we need to do to combat Islamofascism. The number of attacks that have occurred in the West, the number of attacks that have occurred on American soil. Could you imagine the reaction if a white supremacist had shot up and murdered dozens of people at an Orlando nightclub? You think it would be different? Well, if you don't, in the wake of what happened in Charlottesville on Saturday, you have op-eds like this from academia. Talk about a place of totalitarianism. Keisu Park critical race studies professor at UCLA Law School, op-ed in the New York Times. The ACLU needs to rethink free speech. Because of what happened Saturday, we need to rethink our First Amendment protections. Do you recall op-eds like that with respect to radicalized mosques and imams, hate-mongering imams who preach there? Again, it's a small fraction, but they have been identified.
Mm-hmm.
There's been mosques right here in Bridgeview that have been, and foundations associated with mosques that have been prosecuted for being essentially money launderers for terrorists, Islamic terrorists. Was there a call to change the Constitution as a result of these revelations and criminal prosecutions?
We could do what they did do in Germany. You cannot have the swastika anywhere. And if you show, a flag or even have the symbol out, you get arrested.
Okay. We could, I suppose. I mean, we could
do that. But so
we
instead,
could discard the Constitution. Is that what you want to do?
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay, good. The ACLU has a long history of defending the First Amendment rights of groups on both the far left and far right. But while admirable in theory, writes Professor Park, this approach implies that the country is on a level playing field. Here we go. Some people get free speech, some people don't. That at some point it overcame its history of racial discrimination to achieve a real democracy, the cornerstone of which freedom is expression. See, that's not happening. This is safe space fancied up with an academic critical race theory around it. For marginalized communities, the power of expression is impoverished for reasons that have little to do with the First Amendment. Numerous other factors in the public sphere chill their voices but amplify others, and so on and so on and so on, to the point the ACLU needs a more contextual, creative advocacy when it comes to how it defends the freedom of speech. It must research how new threats to speech are connected to one another and to right-wing power. Yeah. So do you want to curtail our free speech rights in this country? Because when this professor is talking about the ACLU, this professor is talking about you. The professor is talking about changing how the First Amendment operates, how it is interpreted, to make it more limited, and chiding the ACLU or urging the ACLU to reconsider its posture with respect to extremist hate groups and their free speech rights in this country.
Well, aren't we?
It's just a proxy for saying it should be changed as a matter of law.
But aren't we changing it by taking down these statues? I mean, aren't the statues of, freedom of expression? And we're just people tore down 7 more statues last night in different towns across America.
The freedom of expression is a negative restraint on government. It's not a positive responsibility. Governments don't have free speech rights. People do. Taking down a statue. Well,
mostly the protesters are taking down the statue.
Yeah, well, that's vandalism. That's a crime. That's action. I'm talking about speech. There is no constitutional right to have said monument in a public square. So, no, this is a sort of a community standards issue. If you want a statue of Robert E. Lee or Ulysses S. Grant or Michael Jackson or Bo Jackson or anybody under the sun,
want Phil Jackson
at your local park, then that's a local matter. And to the extent it's on federal land in D.C., for example, this is a representative republic matter. But there's no constitutional questions about shall have or not have a particular monument or any monument at all. Jim in Rogers Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I listen to you guys all the time. This is the first time I've called in.
Great.
Something you said today about this copycat stuff ties in with what I wanted to say on Monday, but I was too busy driving. And that's, if there's any copycat situation here, it's a very reflex one. The copycat idea would have been sparked in this numbnut's head when he became infuriated that Antifa destroyed the what they had the permit for, the whatever they were going to do, the demonstration or whatever thing that they were going to do that they had the permit for, Antifa destroyed it. And so this idiot says, God damn it, I'm going to go kill those people. And he said, I know how I'll do it, and then he goes and gets the car. It's not something that, like, he's a copycat planning. This kid did not plan to go and run these people over at this event.
Well,
yes, he did.
Well,
No, I don't believe he did.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what he had planned or not planned to do. We don't know. That's why he's going to be put on trial, and we'll probably find out.
Let me tie the other part together.
We don't know, so don't assume facts, not evidence.
Well,
okay.
Go ahead, Jim.
All right. Look, to me, the cops are the ones who are the responsible ones here. These guys pulled a permit. Okay. If there's an article on Fox News app today saying that when they showed up in the buses on Saturday for what happened on Friday, they shouldn't even let them do that. You start lighting torches in the park here, the cops say, put the fires out. Okay, they let them do that. When they showed up, according to this article in Fox, and according to the guy who pulled the permit, they wouldn't let them go into the entrance that was pre-planned, that the police had gone over this plan with him the day before, that you're going to come in through this entrance. No, they brought the buses around to another entrance where all the Antifa was waiting, and all these guys had to walk through them. Okay, this is all a police problem. They were supposed to be protecting these guys with a permit. They're supposed to be telling people who are there illegally, get out of here, and they're supposed to be making a blockade between the two groups. And if they wouldn't have driven off, I maintain, okay, this is logic, of course, I don't know, this is just being common sense, that if they wouldn't have made them run away because they lost the rumble, that kid wouldn't have come back with his car.
Thanks for the call, Jim.
I completely disagree. I mean, he bought that car recently in Michigan and drove it down, I believe, with the purpose to kill people.
Well, obviously that's...
He sped up when he went into there. He was going 30 miles per hour. The Barcelona guy was going 50 miles per hour. Sped up into a crowd, backed up, and hit him again.
What does one have to do with the
I'm
other?
just saying he used his vehicle as a weapon.
Is that in dispute?
He was saying that if they didn't kick him out of if he entered the right part of the park, he wouldn't have rammed his car into the crowd.
He's saying that he was that there was an
Right.
instigating event. I don't agree with that, but using his car as a weapon, that's not in question. We have no idea whether this was planned or was a spur of the moment
Like a knee-jerk reaction, like something happened to him and he decided, you
Yeah.
know what, I've had enough of you people, I'm going to plow you down.
a moment of rage. I mean, I don't know.
And we will find
These
out when he goes to court.
These are people who are hate-filled, so rage is certainly plausible. Planning, possible. I don't know. Let's just not assume facts, not in evidence. In terms of the police, there's a couple of things you have to consider. I've seen a lot of discussion about the job that the police did, and
Not calling in the National Guard.
No.
Well, the Friday night before was peaceful. I mean, they had the tiki torches and they marched through University of Virginia, and it was fine.
Okay, well, Saturday wasn't. And
Right.
So the question is, did the police do an effective job of securing the perimeter and, take a sensible approach to preparing for what they knew could become a powder keg? And there's a couple of things you have to remember. We've seen this on college campuses. We also don't know exactly what civilian authorities directed police to do. You've got a mayor. You've got Terry McAuliffe. You've got the mayor communicating with the governor there. You don't know the license police were given with respect to securing that event. So we don't know, and that factors into the job the police did. They report to civilian political authorities. Let's remember that. And in terms of, could they have cordoned off that street that he sped down when he murdered that girl? Perhaps it's arguable. But let's not blame shift here. The person responsible for what happened on Saturday is the person who decided to use violence to try and advance his hateful ideology in whatever ignorant way he thought he was advancing it by doing what he did. That's the end of it. Let's just keep it real simple, shall we? Tony on the South Side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Amy. I'm through with all this Antifa, KKK stuff for the week. Let's talk about more salient issues of the day. This MOOC professor out in UCLA. What gets lost, as a matter of fact, they should strip this guy of his credentials. What gets lost on this chooch is the fact, if it wasn't for our First Amendment rights, what would Martin Luther King would have done to get his movement going? Point in case, done. Have a good day, people.
Thanks for the call, Tony, and for the use of mooch and mook in the same call, which is not easy to do. No, chooch. Chooch and mook.
Chooch.
Yeah, chooch and mooch.
That's a new morning show, right? Chooch and mook.
That would be a good name for a morning show. Or like it's kind of like a Hootie and the Blowfish. It could be it could be a band name as well, yeah.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Rich in Galena, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what are the Islamic terrorists going to think now if they're going to have to share the headlines with the white supremacist groups that are using the mode of destruction? They're not going to be happy, I don't think.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Rich. Appreciate it.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth, now heard regularly in 18 countries. What percentage of you listening to this commercial often say to yourself, what could I do to make more money, or how can we increase our business? I'm guessing that's most of you. Have you ever heard knock on the door and it'll open? Well, my friends at Income Store have doors you can open that can help you or your family make more money, or doors that lead to an increase in revenue for any business of any size. Income Store has 2 main doors on their website. These doors lead to over 2,000 revenue-generating ideas and products. Although a few of their products are pricey, 90+% of their growth formulas are delivered free or nearly free. Income Store's growth products and ideas have been publicized and featured on Forbes, Inc., USA Today, and recently the Biography Channel. Could your household or business use a revenue shot in the backside? Are you sick of your checkbook talking back and saying no? If so, you need to knock on the doors of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Hey, every guy dreads the honey-do list, so give yourself a weekend off and check out ChicagoRadioDeals.com for some home improvement help. How's the air quality in your home? Allergens could be affecting the air you breathe. Well, Royal Home Comfort Services is offering several deals at half off the normal price to improve the air quality in your home. Purchase a full home air duct cleaning for $195. This deal includes your ducts and the inspection of your furnace as well. They also have a deal to rid your home ductwork of all unwanted bacteria, including mold, by using a natural cleansing agent to keep your family safe and healthy. But wait, there's more. Royal Home Comfort also has a deal to clean and inspect your home dryer vent for only $45. Find out all the information only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm 75 years old, and I don't eat enough vegetables or fruit. And this is a great thing to do. And it seems that I have more energy. It seems that I take that, and I take a lot of blood pressure pills and what do you call it, cholesterol. But my doctor tells me, he said, no, you might cut the dosage down on your pills, because what are you taking? I said, Balance of Nature. He said he didn't know what it was, so I told him, I said, it's fruits and vegetables condensed into little pill form. He goes, well, whatever it is, it's doing you a lot of good.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
There's a place where you can get custom metal products. If you manage a commercial kitchen, hotel, condo building, or food-grade manufacturing plant, then no matter the type of metal or size of the project, the skillfully trained fabrication team at Vans Industrial has you covered.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Custom metal fabrication is the backbone of my company. We fabricate stainless steel countertops, wall coverings, hoods, landscape planter boxes, industrial fan housings, and more. Vans Industrial uses all types of alloys like carbon steel, aluminum, brass, and polished stainless steel. And we have a laser cutting machine. Our laser can customize almost any project. Our team can design, fabricate, and install your project today.
Call 219-931-4881 today for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Vans Industrial, customizing for you, the customer.
5:57. Where are those traffic trouble spots this morning? Of course we have the answer. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. We've got a lot of them on the CTA. Pink and Green Line service is disrupted in the West Loop. There's a raised bridge. Green Line service is suspended between Ashland and downtown Clark and Lake. And Pink Line trains coming in only go as far as Clinton. There's a raised bridge. The outbound Ryan has a big jam from 47th to Garfield, where the local lanes are closed for investigation of an overnight shooting. Inbound delays don't start till around 35th. It's about 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eden's fine. Kennedy as well. Inbound Eisenhower. Very heavy from 83 to St. Charles with a crash in the two left lanes. 48 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 31 with Gapers. Stevenson 38 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Bishop Ford, I-57, both with 5-minute delays approaching the Ryan. Northbound Tri-State heavy. Southwest Highway to 87th after a crash. Traffic is the service of Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommended? Dove Men Plus Care user Bobby said he doesn't know how it works, but it gets the job done. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Breezy today with sun and clouds, high 82, then becoming cloudy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm in the area, low 64. Clouds followed by some sun tomorrow, high 83, and a starlit night tomorrow night, low 64. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
68 at O'Hare. News a service of Office Depot Office Max. Shop the Office Depot Office Max Back to School 1 cent event going on now. Select items 1 cent each, in-store only. Limit 3 each while supplies last. Offer with $5 minimum purchase before tax. Ends 8/19. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. 2 are in custody, arrested, connected with the death of a missing Chicago woman. Chicago election officials say a file containing names, addresses, and dates of birth and other information about the city's 1.8 million registered voters has been published online. Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White going back on his word, breaking a political promise not to run again for Secretary of State. He says he'll be running again. A statue of Abraham Lincoln damaged in Chicago near the corner of 69th and Walcott. Reds outslug the Cubs. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
They are not afraid. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After going silent for a minute in Barcelona, thousands of people near the site of yesterday's terror attack chanted, "I am not afraid," over and over as the search continues for the driver of the van that plowed into pedestrians, killing 13, injuring more than 100. 3 other suspects are in custody.
Spanish authorities say that one of the men that they arrested was involved in trying to build a bomb that detonated on Wednesday night just before Thursday's attacks. So it does appear that this group, which ISIS is saying are soldiers in the ISIS army, that they were trying to carry out some explosives as part of these attacks.
Fox's Connor Powell in Barcelona. Hours later in Cambrils, Spain, a car rammed into people, and we've just learned one of the victims has died. 6 others were hurt. Police opened fire on the attackers, and this guy saw one of them get shot.
And then within 2 seconds, I thought I was watching a film, one of them horror films. The guy just stood up. got back up, walked over the fence and started laughing at the police.
Well, he was finally shot dead along with 4 others. All wore fake bomb belts. President Trump has condemned the Spanish terror and will focus on security today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president heads to Camp David, where he'll take a part in a briefing with the National Security Council. Vice President Mike Pence cut his visit to South and Central America short after the Spain attacks. Speaking in Panama yesterday, he said the U.S. and its allies will find and punish those responsible.
Drive the evil of radical Islamic terror from the face of the earth.
President Trump expected to discuss the Spain attacks with his national security team, as well as a strategy for the war in Afghanistan. Dave.
Rachel, another Civil War era monument has come down. A statue of the Supreme Court justice who authored the Dred Scott decision upholding slavery, Roger Taney. A crane put it on a truck at about 2 a.m. It was hauled away from the grounds of the Maryland State House in Annapolis. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This summer, everybody is talking about one person. And on August 22nd, we want to hear what you have to say about President Donald Trump. Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump as he welcomes Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson to the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Join the debate as they discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly moments of the Trump administration. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. Sponsored in part by Storlock and by Best Dental Group.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, we help keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT, home, safe home.
Can you mow a yard, clean a house, haul off some junk? Then you can make extra money with the Tackle app. Tackle is an amazing new app that connects people who can perform small jobs with customers who need them done. Signing up is easy, so become a Tackle provider today. Go to Tackle.com to join. That's TAKL.com. As a Tackle provider, you can be your own boss, set your own hours, and make great money. Go to TAKL.com today.
It's hard to filter through all the noise. Sorting through healthcare plans for yourself or your business makes your head hurt. Will this plan take care of what you need? Will it fit your budget? Who has the time to shop around? It's a lot to deal with and figure out. The solution to your healthcare plan problems? Summit Solutions. Talk to real people and get answers in simple terms you can understand and negotiate a plan that's right for you. Summit Solutions is an independent advisor with the freedom to custom design solutions and solve your healthcare plan problems. They'll assist and explain not only healthcare to your employees, but also retirement planning. Here's what one of their customers says. Summit Solutions has consistently met or surpassed our expectations. We've never had to consult with any other broker or agent for any type of coverage. They've been an essential component to our success and growth. Call Summit Solutions for a free consultation or analysis of your plan, 773-685-9077, or visit SummitSolutionsUSA.com. Summit Solutions. Insure, invest, retire.
Americans have the right and advantage of being armed, unlike the citizens of other countries whose governments are afraid to trust the people with arms. James Madison, Federalist Papers. Our founders recognized that the common individual needs to be trusted, but with trust, there must be common sense and personal responsibility. This is especially true of handguns. If you've been thinking of making a purchase, visit the Range at 355. The Range at 355 is so much more than a state-of-the-art shooting range. It is a fully stocked showroom carrying a variety of firearms with brands like Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, HKs, and Glock. The Range at 355 offers Illinois concealed carry license training and a full curriculum of classes designed to teach you what you need to know to be a responsible gun owner and concealed carrier. Their professional team will train you like a pro. Founded by patriots like you, providing professional guidance and courteous instruction. Trust your skills to the pros at the Range at 355. For range hours and class info, visit range355.com. Range355.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And that Barcelona terrorist attack, van attack that killed the alleged Islamic terrorists, an attack that ISIS has claimed credit for, killed 13 people, wounded more than 100. I think as many as 10 are gravely injured. So
yeah, and they're people from, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to Barcelona, but people come from all over the world, and 20 people from 24 different countries were either killed or injured in that gruesome attack yesterday.
3 in custody, 2 Moroccans and 1 Spanish national, but the driver not in custody. His brother is, he's not. And this is the 6th such attack committed by Islamofascists in Europe in just this calendar year.
Yeah, we've had attacks in Stockholm, London, and of course the worst one was in Nice, France.
What's to be done about it? What does it say about the virulence of ISIS, and also the coverage of this? I go back to CNN. The suggestion that Wolf Blitzer made that this could have been a copycat attack of Charlottesville. Let's bring in our friend Jeff Adicott. He is Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Adicott, I should say, director of the Center for Terrorism Law, former Army officer in the JAG Corps as well. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure.
So, we haven't seen an attack on this scale in Spain since the bombings in Madrid back in March of 2004. But the reporting strikes a very similar profile. I'm talking of a country and a major city like Barcelona, areas that were essentially no-go zones. That wasn't used, but that were segregated Muslim-majority neighborhoods where the police and Barcelona authorities knew there was that those neighborhoods were serving as incubators of extremist activity. And again, it takes something like this before you get a response to policies that were pursued that ultimately allowed for this kind of hate and violence to incubate.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, there's actually, of course, there's 2 attacks in Spain. The second one at 1 o'clock in the morning, their time. I'm in London right now, and in that incident, we had 4 or 5 terrorists that were killed, these Islamic extremists. And so we had at least 2 cells that were operating, one in Barcelona and one, about 100 kilometers to the south. So it's this attack, they call it a low-tech attack. It doesn't require a lot of skill, doesn't require training. You don't need to go to a Al-Qaeda training terror camp to learn how to do combat activities. You simply get in the larger the truck, the better. And of course, we saw this in Germany, where you had the Christmas, market attack, where somebody just got in a bus and started, or a large vehicle, and started driving through. In this particular attack, they were weaving back and forth along the sidewalks to mow down as many people. That's a very crowded area, so they selected it for maximum casualties. There's nowhere to go. If you're in that particular area, there's nowhere for you to run because you're jammed in on either side. It's a low-tech attack, and these Islamists are the ones that have perfected this. If other people have, copycatted it, they copycatted it from Islam. It's radical Islam, of course. As the Prime Minister of Spain said, these are jihadists. And it's always important to remember that the vast majority of Muslims have nothing to do with this. In London, here I walked through a neighborhood just the other day. I'm looking out the window. I see several, women dressed up in the traditional garb. They have nothing to do with these types of things. But there are an element inside of the of Islam that we call radical Islam that have everything to do with it. And that's the problem for the police, is separating those people out from the majority. And obviously, we need more assistance from the majority communities to be the eyes and the ears for the police and say, something's going on in the community in this particular apartment building, because somebody knows who these people are within the community. And we've seen this phenomenon in our own country, in California, where people know something strange going on, but they don't want to become involved. And that's basically human nature, whether you're whatever religious background you have, you just don't want to get involved.
Yeah, you can't hide your head in the sand anymore in these days. But why Spain? I mean, they haven't had an attack in 13 years. Do you know why they chose?
Well, yeah. Well, they have a different system than we do in our country in terms of security and tracking terror groups. They've broken up a lot of plots in Germany and France and England and Spain, all across Europe. They don't have our Bill of Rights. In London, again, I'm in London this week doing terrorism studies. You've got cameras on every single street corner, so they have amplified their domestic security laws where they can detain suspects for lengthy periods of time, approximately a month, while they investigate them. In our country, we haven't done that. We haven't amplified our domestic law to, in response to jihad attacks. We've used the law of war for jihadists overseas, but within our country, we still apply our own domestic criminal law. In Europe, many countries have modified their domestic criminal law to deal with the threat. So they've been very good at breaking up numerous plots over the years. But it just takes, one or two times that the information is not there and the attack goes through. And with these low-tech attacks, much harder to track because they're not, they don't have to go to training schools. There's not much communication that has to be done other than I'm going to rent a van and you and I are going to, drive it into a large population area.
So Paris, Brussels, London, Madrid, Barcelona, Stockholm, Nice, the list goes on and on and on. And I wonder, now we're 16 years after 9/11, what the threat assessment is of ISIS and radical Islamic terrorism and terrorists in all forms in Europe in terms of the ability of these cities to ever rid themselves of these internal problems they have. I'll just ask that question. I've got a follow-up, but that question first.
I think they're going to do it in the long term as these populations assimilate into the Western culture. I think you're going to see much improvement, and that's a gradual process. And that's what we demand in our country, that if you come here, you assimilate into our Bill of Rights and the way that we do things. And that's been the melting pot that has made this a great country, although we've had our 9/11, our Orlando, our San Bernardino.
Yeah.
We've had jihadi attacks here as well. But again, when will it end? Never. I mean, there's always crime. There's always another war. There's always a need for law enforcement. We have to be vigilant. This is the evil of our day, is jihad and these jihadists. I'm hopeful, however, that we can turn the corner once ISIS is thoroughly crushed. We've liberated millions of people already in Syria and Iraq from the clutches of this evil caliphate, and once we crush it entirely, I think you're going to see the wind go out of the sails of many of these individuals. ISIS, of course, has taken responsibility for the attacks here in Spain. I think that's going to be a major blow to the organization and the people that pledge allegiance to this type of ideology of hate and violence.
You mentioned these European countries are not restrained by our Bill of Rights when it comes to law enforcement, our Constitution when it comes to law enforcement, and yet we have had attacks on American soil. They've soft targets, kind of down market, if you will, communities, just in terms of size and presence and and global importance. When does something like this manifest itself in New York or Chicago or L.A. or Boston, like it is in Europe, in European capitals and major cities?
Well, Israel and the United States are the number 1 and 2 great evils according to their ideology of hate. And, we've had the biggest attack that's ever occurred, which is, of course, 9/11. And ISIS has made it very clear they want to top a 9/11 type event in our country. But we've been very vigilant. Our law enforcement has done an excellent job. And so that hasn't occurred yet. We've had smaller attacks by individuals that are inspired by ISIS Central Command, but we haven't had a major attack since 9/11, and I'm hopeful that we won't. It's very important that we not allow weapons of mass destruction to fall into the hands of these jihadists or other regimes like Iran that basically have every year they have a Death to America march in the Capitol, and that's kind of a clue that they want to destroy you. So it's it's a very tough job, and there's a lot of parameters. But I think one thing all of us need to remind ourselves, and I see that here in Europe, is that these jihadists, these terrorists, are not changing the way of life of most people. They go right back out in the streets. They do what the Israelis do. They're not letting terror grip their lives in such a way that they're paralyzed, or that they're throwing their own traditions into the traditions of openness and inclusiveness into the trash can.
Well, some breaking news. We've just learned that a 14th person has died in the Barcelona rampage, and that the 5 terrorists that were taken down in that second vehicle attack, they're all wearing fake suicide belts. But what is their relation to this house bomb that happened the night before the Barcelona attack?
Yeah, we're still trying to sort that out. That could mean perhaps they had another plan in mind, and that included an explosive device. And then when that probably may have went off by accident or something, that they decided to go to plan B, which was to take the van and, run down as many people as they could. So apparently they were planning a rather high-tech attack coupled with a low-tech attack. And when the high-tech attack, and this is my own personal opinion, when the high-tech attack didn't occur, as evidenced by something going wrong, they decided to switch immediately to the low-tech attack of the van.
Just going back to what you said before about when we eradicate ISIS and the land that they control, that could be a death knell, or certainly an event that seriously marginalizes Islamofascists globally. So I get that, because then you don't have the inspiration of the caliphate being extended, and it's we're on the march, sort of the global message that they can send through their propaganda channels. But don't you just disperse them as well? And don't you still have these kind of self-radicalized and small group cells that we've seen in many of these attacks?
Yeah, I mean, what caused these attacks to really spark and rise and develop since 2013, 2014, 2015 was the rise of ISIS. So as you can draw a direct line, as ISIS got more powerful and they defeated the Syrian and the Iraqi militaries and took control, then people, jihadists around the world, said, "Oh, well, God must be on their side." So the inverse logic applies, that when you destroy them, then their inspiration goes away. So yes, you can still have these hateful ideas, but you don't carry them out. You simply keep them in your own mind, because you're no longer inspired to carry out the violence. And that's my hope. And then, the next generation, when these people die out, that we can, in the long term, we've got to close down the Hitler Youth Camps and teach people this hate and this wicked ideology. And in the short term, we have to be vigilant, use our military over there to destroy those targets, and then law enforcement here, to confront these people. But you have to be more aggressive, I think, as the French are doing right now. If you've got a radical mosque that's preaching violence and murder, that mosque needs to be closed down. I mean, that's what the French have done in many, many cases across France. They've discovered that, we can no longer stick our head in the sand and just say, well, maybe they don't mean it, maybe they'll go away. You've got to close down the preachers of hate.
He is Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Adicott, Director of the Center for Terrorism Law, former Army officer in the JAG Corps. Lieutenant Colonel Adicott, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, your phone calls 312-642-5600. Plus, 2 college teams were there in Barcelona and were just yards away from the attack. But first, here's your forecast. Breezy, pleasant today. We're going to have some sun and clouds, a high of 82 degrees. Tonight, a passing shower or thunderstorm. And then your weekend looks great for the Chicago Air and Water Show. We're going to have some sun and clouds on Saturday, a high of 83, and then even warmer on Sunday. All sunshine and a high near 90. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Any road closures associated with the Chicago Air and Water Show? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Not yet, Amy, but that's going to be a big traffic issue the next few days. A lot of people along the lakefront from the near north side extending down to the near south side throughout the downtown area. We have good news on the CTA Pink and Green line. Service has resumed. There was a bridge problem near Clinton. There are some residual delays. Pink and Green line trains are running again in both directions with no interruption. Oak Brook Terrace, there's a closure of 83 between 22nd and Hodges. That's due to a crash. Eden's fine. Kennedy, 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 20. There are delays on westbound 190 from Anaheim to O'Hare. There's some police activity in the terminal area. From Eisenhower jammed 83 to St. Charles. Crashed in the two left lanes. 50 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 31. Stevenson, 40 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. The Ryan, 20. 95th to downtown. Outbound 20. The local lanes have reopened between Garfield and 63rd. They had been closed due to an early morning shooting. Northbound Tri-States, though, Southwest Highway to 87th after a crash. Reagan Tollways, though, 355 to Highland after a crash. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
How would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware and software and, more importantly, give you peace of mind. Well, using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone and make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call because they work hard to take preventative measures to keep your network secure, backed up, and running nonstop. Here's the Turnkey experience for that low monthly rate. You get Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. Yes, even on the weekends. So find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had some ulcer issues on my leg that I had from Vietnam. It would erupt on occasion of periods of stress. When I was taking juices, these ulcers had disappeared, but I was not able to get good quality fruits and vegetables to make good juices. And, these ulcers came back. But since I've been taking the fruit and the veggie capsules, these ulcers again have subsided.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Belinda Carlisle of the Go-Go's at Grand Victoria Casino. See Belinda Carlisle of the Go-Go's with special guest Smash Mouth. So don't delay, act now. And featuring The Motels with Martha Davis and Bow Wow Wow. Labor Day weekend, Sunday, September 3rd. Part of the Grand Victoria Casino Summer Concert Series in Elgin. Tickets on sale now at gvctickets.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. If you think they're stopping with Lee, you're fooling yourself. They're going after Washington. They're going after Jefferson. We'll talk about it when Freedom returns at 5.
It's just heartbreaking. There are 14 people are now confirmed dead in yesterday's attack. A 7-year-old boy, a 35-year-old man, a grandfather of 10. I mean, it's And the victims are coming from 36 different countries now. But yesterday, 2 American groups were there. They were having exhibition games, Oregon State's basketball team and Clemson's basketball team. Oregon State saw what happened firsthand. Here is their head coach.
Literally looking out of our window, we won't show you pictures, but some horrific sights, several fatalities within eyesight of our hotel room. I know people back home are concerned, but I don't think they understand the gravity of what occurred here today.
Because they saw firsthand, they said their lives will never be the same. Did you see the video on CNN?
Yes.
Because they didn't hold back. This is the first terrorist attack where you can actually see the path and see all the bodies and the blood, and it was just, it's sick, and these people need to be stopped.
Gary in Hanover Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan, Amy. I want to apologize because I'm trying to talk with my tongue firmly in my cheek, but I want to remind the news media who can't think beyond last week. The Blues Brothers ran their vehicle into a bunch of Nazis and a crowd of people, and the police held the response between the two in the movie, if not in Virginia.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, there's I think a lawsuit should be put against some people in Hollywood. Maybe that would chill them out a bit.
Yeah,
anyway, that's my comment.
Thank you for the call, Gary. That movie, not a documentary. Just point of order, not a documentary. All right.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Should we refight the Civil War at 6:36?
And later, President Trump botched another response to a terrorist attack, tweeting about a military myth. We'll explain, but first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Dan and Amy, good morning. 66 degrees, mostly clear skies. Receiving word into the newsroom this morning that all Florida prisons have just been placed on partial lockdown. Was part of a investigation that was confirmed yesterday by that state's Department of Corrections. They say this morning the action is prompted by credible intelligence indicating huge potential disruptions at all Florida prisons. Police say the death toll in Spain has risen to 14 after a woman injured in a seaside resort has died, and the hunt is on in Spain this morning for the driver of that van that killed more than a dozen and injured more than 100. The van plowed into tourists in a popular district of Barcelona. An American student there is reliving the horror of yesterday's attack. Crystal King saying she never thought this could happen on her vacation.
I was at the neighboring restaurant, which is Burger King. I had to use a restroom. I ran into this restaurant, and as I was coming down, I opened the door. There were people screaming and crying. I was like, I've been in here for 3 minutes. What could have possibly happened?
ISIS claiming responsibility for what police are calling a terror attack. Speaking in Panama, Vice President Mike Pence says the U.S. is in solidarity with Spain.
The United States stands ready to assist the people of Spain and find and punish those responsible.
Authorities also reporting that they have thwarted a second attack hours later in a town about 75 miles south of Barcelona, and those two attacks are linked to a possible third attack. Capping off a whirlwind week of controversy, President Trump opens a national security summit on North Korea and Afghanistan today at Camp David. Trump has been trying to decide whether to approve sending more troops into Afghanistan to beat back a resurgent Taliban. The Secret Service is investigating a Missouri Democrat who said on Facebook she hoped President Trump would be assassinated. St. Louis Post-Dispatch is reporting State Senator Maria Nadal has since deleted that comment and apologized. However, Missouri politicians this morning from both parties are calling for her resignation. The statue of Roger Taney no longer stands on the State House grounds of Annapolis, Maryland. Taney was a Maryland native, Chief Justice to the U.S. Supreme Court, who authored the 1957 Dred Scott decision upholding slavery. 2 are under arrest here in Chicago connected with the death of a missing Chicago woman. The arrest carried out Wednesday by the Illinois State Police in Lockport. The suspects were taken into custody in the death of Martha Sanchez. A man injured after a shooting at a CTA Red Line station in Chicago's Loop, and the search is on this morning for that shooter. It happened last night around 7:45 along South State Street. Police say the shooting appears to be targeted. Illinois Secretary of State going back on his word, breaking a political promise not to run again for Secretary of State. The elderly Democrat Jesse White telling Democrats at the Illinois State Fair he will run again for a 6th term as Secretary of State. And Uber and Lyft are offering refunds to customers who turned to that ride-sharing service due to CTA train line problems earlier this week. Some CTA trains on the north side were stopped Tuesday morning because of this. Many who normally take the trains turned to Uber and Lyft. It's caused major price increases for the ride-sharing services. Uber and Lyft say they're in the process of refunding customers for that surge pricing. Drivers who profited from the price increase will not be affected by the refunds. And politically this morning, Illinois State Police have launched an investigation into the mayor of Bloomington. See if he broke the law when he bought a plane ticket to Japan for his girlfriend. Mayor Terry Renner yesterday said he didn't do anything wrong. Renner said a city worker bought the ticket for a sister cities event where his girlfriend was invited as a delegate, and she reimbursed the city. However, you may recall the Illinois Supreme Court a few years ago ruled that this kind of float was a violation of the law. Reds outslugged the Cubs 13-10 at Wrigley Field. John Lester rocked for 9 runs and left with an injury. Rangers rallied from a 4-0 deficit for a 9-8 win over the White Sox. Bears continue preseason play against the Cardinals in Arizona tomorrow. The news service of Cabela's. Get ready for fall. Time for you to head to Nature's Classroom, but first, come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days with a special event and giveaway, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting at 8 a.m. Saturday, August 19th. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com. 6:32, it's time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days with special events and giveaways, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting 8 a.m. Saturday, August 19th. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-4133. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't delay. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-4133. Again, that's 1-800-600-4133.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call. A borrower called me after contacting the lender who boasts about having the lowest rates and closing costs because he thought my competitor's closing costs were excessively high. I compared loan estimates and the interest rates were identical, but our definitions of low closing costs were a lot different. Fact is, my closing costs were over $1,000 less than the lender claiming to have the lowest closing costs. When purchasing a home, you can either work with the lender who talks and talks and talks and talks about low closing costs, or you can work with me, a lender who actually has low closing costs. Then think of all the things you could do with an extra $1,000 when we originate your loan, like pay for the movers, buy a new computer, new TV, maybe new carpet for your new house. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, 4358, and MLS 19186.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus major components of 20 other home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-300-3861. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-300-3861. That's 1-800-300-3861. 1-800-300-3861.
6:36, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. CTA Pink and Green Line trains are back on schedule after there was a service disruption in the West Loop. There was a bridge problem near Clinton. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 27 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. Inbound Eisenhower jam from near 83 to St. Charles. The crash is cleared now. Travel time is 45 minutes from Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355. Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. The Ryan, 20 minutes either way between 95th and downtown. Outbound, the locals have reopened between Garfield and 63rd after an overnight shooting. Tri-State has northbound delays, Cicero to 75th. From the Reaganville to the Eisenhower. Reaganville was still 355 to Highland after a collision. Traffic is a service of LifeLock. This morning, here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. If something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Breezy, pleasant, sun and clouds, and a high of 82. Currently 66. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Nancy Pelosi is joining in the fun. She is calling on Paul Ryan to remove everything from the Capitol building that doesn't blink, and so that would, of course, include her.
Oh, hey,
Thank you very much.
That is so fun. I love Botox jokes. They're
Thank you
funny.
very much. Yeah, she wants all quote-unquote Confederate statues removed from the Capitol. If Republicans are serious about rejecting white supremacy, I call upon Speaker Ryan to join Democrats to remove the Confederate statues from the Capitol immediately. So when she was Speaker, white supremacy was okay? Why now?
Because those statues were there before.
Yeah, why not? What? Just getting around to it? Why the sudden outrage? Where does this come from? For what purpose must it serve? Then Mike Scott's been reporting on this too. You saw this. Missouri State Senator Maria Chappelle-Nadal posted on her Facebook page, "I hope Trump is assassinated." Then she remembered that threatening the life of the president is a federal crime, and she took it down.
Yeah, but now lawmakers in Missouri are asking her to resign or demanding that she resigns.
Yeah, well, that's where we're at. So since we're relitigating the Civil War, you want to just refight it? The battle lines will be different. I mean, no one is formally for slavery or for slave states anymore, but there is a different kind of totalitarianism afoot. You want to just refight it? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 646-368, turnkey.pro text line. It's the op-ed in the Wall Street Journal today, refighting the Civil War. In fewer than 7 days after the Charlottesville violence, statuary and other symbols of the American Confederacy are disappearing. Others are being vandalized. Oh, by the way, Lincoln statue vandalized.
Not Abraham Lincoln.
Not Abraham Lincoln. No, he's safe. So for you to ogle.
Well, people should know what Abraham Lincoln is. It's Abraham Lincoln, but it's a statue of him in his younger years, and he's hot. And it's here in Chicago. It's near North Center, and it's a great statue, so you should swing by. And nobody should touch Abraham Lincoln.
Well,
okay?
Abraham Lincoln's safe for now, but an Abraham Lincoln bust in Inglewood was sprayed and ignited with sprayed with a flammable liquid and ignited, so it was burned.
Do they not know what he did to fight slavery?
Yeah. So there's that.
Well, there's also in Atlanta, protesters vandalized and toppled a peace memorial thinking that it was a Confederate soldier. It was an angel, and they took it down.
Vandals on the campus of Duke University defaced the Robert E. Lee statue at Duke Chapel. Vandals in New Hampshire spray-painted Nazis on the side of the Republican Party headquarters in Concord. You want to just fight? You want to fight it?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. And a little bit of breaking news here in Chicago, too. Mayor Emanuel rejects the call to rename Washington and Jackson Park, saying that the namesakes of those parks, George Washington and Andrew Jackson, made America better, and they deserve the honor despite owning slaves.
If you look at their terms, Washington and President Jackson fought for this effort as presidents for a more perfect union. Those will stay Washington and Jackson parks. Full stop.
Meanwhile, Vice magazine calls for Mount Rushmore to be blown up.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah. See, they got a little picture there of it.
Oh, that's how it's going to look now. That's how that's going to go down.
Continental divide between
Washington.
Jefferson, and so you got that going on. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that? Going back to this editorial, absent Mr. Trump's comments, it's doubtful that the counter-Confederate movement would have extended to the attempted renaming in Austin of Robert E. Lee Road, or that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo would be demanding as a, quote, stand against intolerance and racism, unquote, that the U.S. Army rename 2 streets at Fort Hamilton in southwest Brooklyn commemorating Lee and Stonewall Jackson. Of course, that's true. This is all political. That's the point. But the left seeks to end history, while Trump is not helping by seeking to rewrite it.
Well, he tweeted yesterday, sad to see the history and culture of our great country being ripped apart with the removal of our beautiful statues and monuments. You can't change history, but you can learn from it. Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, who's next? Washington, Jefferson. So foolish.
Right.
Right, but do you think this is the time, this might be an ancillary issue for President Trump to try and defend Confederate statues? I just think he should sit this one out because he's been heavily scrutinized because of his comments that he made earlier this week, that I just think that this is not his fight, that he should be quiet.
Washington, Jefferson, Jackson, we're going to need a new national anthem.
Well, we're going to need new money, too, because George Washington's on my dollar bill.
Yeah, new national anthem. Francis Scott Key.
Yeah? Uh-oh, what now?
Oh, gosh. And I don't mean to minimize slavery, but
what's going on, Dan? I need to know.
Well, Francis Scott Key was a slaveholding attorney from a Maryland plantation family. So
come
on. So he, despite the fact he composed "All men are created equal" and "The land of the free." Mm-hmm. We're gonna need a new national anthem now.
I want to know who we're going to put on the $1 bill.
So please join Colin Kaepernick in taking a knee at your next sporting event. And I don't mean professional sporting event. I mean anywhere you hear the national anthem, of course, you're going to have to get down on bended knee to protest Francis Scott Key.
Even at neighborhood 5K runs?
This past weekend, Friday night, my wife went on a fun run in our neighborhood. It's like one of these glow runs or something, like for cancer research. You run like a 5K. I'll be damned if they didn't sing the national anthem before this fun run. Whatever, there's margaritas, beer. It's a charity event. Nobody's trying to set the record in the 5K. A dude took a knee while an 8-year-old girl sang the national anthem in the local neighborhood charity run. Can you try harder than to take a knee while an 8-year-old girl sings a charity run national anthem in a local neighborhood in this country?
That's a classic. That's Clay Travis, a
Still
great sports writer and blogger and talk radio guy too.
Yeah.
To tell the story. This was just in the wake of the Kaepernick controversy last year. This has nothing to do with Charlottesville. That's a year
But
old.
still, it's just,
to give you a sense of where this is careening. So I ask again, you ready to get this thing on, or somebody want to defend Francis Scott Key's work? Take your calls, 312-642-5600, Turkey.pro answer line. Bill on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. I'm a member of PETA. I'm a representative there. I'm demanding that those statues stay in the parks, because where are our pigeons going to land if we don't have those statues?
Yeah, I don't think...
How are we supposed to... What about the pigeons? Think of the pigeons.
I don't think you're actually a member of PETA, Bill. Thanks for the call. Appreciate
Fake call.
it.
No,
Yeah.
what about the Wizard of Oz, Oz Park?
Judith and Skokie, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, thank you. You two are so funny. It's a contest. Which one is funnier?
It's me.
I am.
No, it's me. It's not much of a contest.
It's not that funny, but this totalitarianism, excuse me, was how the Nazis got power, and the Jews don't spray paint the Holocaust museums here. There's one in Skokie. Skokie is where skinheads marched years ago, because there are a lot of Jews here. We want to remember what happened so it doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And some idiot doesn't say, "Oh, that never happened."
Mm-hmm.
And they believe that in the Middle East. Some people do. They believe there was no Holocaust in Germany.
There was a tenured professor at Northwestern who was a Holocaust denier. Butts was his last name. I'm not kidding.
Butts?
Yeah, he was there when I was there. Thanks for the call, Judith. Appreciate it. No, there's all kinds of...
And he got a job at Northwestern?
Yeah. Look, every book has been rewritten, every picture has been reprinted, every statue and street and building has been renamed, every date has been altered. And that process continuing day by day and minute by minute, history has stopped. That's not my prose, I'm sorry to say. It's George Orwell's in 1984. So it's 1984 in 2017. So you want to stand up against INCSOC before it gains the reins of formal power in this country? Is it time to, refight the Civil War along those fault lines? Mark in Des Plaines, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The lady from Skokie was absolutely right. These people are anarchists, nihilists. They're anti this country and everything it stands for. And as far as the pigeon guy, they'll always have our cars to dive bomb after we wash them. You know what I mean?
There you go, Mark. That's good. Thanks for that nice sentiment for the pigeons. I appreciate that, Mark. Very good. Who's thinking about the pigeons? Bill and Mark are. This also from Shelby Steele. Because so much of this is driven by white guilt. And if you haven't read that book,
give me your copy.
You should read that book.
Do you have a copy?
I will give you a copy.
Promise? You
Yes.
see this, and now...
I forget. You have to remind me. I will get you a copy. I'll get everybody a copy.
Oh, now you're just
Well,
going to hand out free copies.
I really...
Okay, where do I go
will.
for my
That's how
free
important
copy?
it is for
That's
people to read
fine.
Shelby Steele's White Guilt. But one of the things that he writes about white guilt, he says, it's not actual guilt. Surely most whites are not assailed in the night by feelings of responsibility for America's historical mistreatment of minorities, to which we don't have any direct connection, unless we're doing it in present. But here's the important point about the left, because that's what we're talking about, Antifa and BLM and the left. American liberalism never acknowledged that it was about white esteem rather than minority accomplishment. 4,000 shootings in Chicago last year, and the mayor announces that his will be a sanctuary city. This is moral esteem over reality, the self-congratulations of idealism. Liberalism is exhausted because it has become a corruption. Think about that. It is about white esteem rather than minority accomplishment, which explains the disconnect between everybody's focus on lifting up their brother and sister, particularly those in minority communities, the obsession with the solidarity and marginality with minorities and with the gender fluid crowd is the marginalized population du jour. But the solidarity and marginality game that rich white leftists play is about white esteem, not minority accomplishment, whether it's minority by race or minority by sexual orientation or any other way they want to chop up the population to maintain control of political power and, frankly, to keep those people away from them, which is also part of it. You think these are proponents, for the most part, great proponents of tolerance and assimilation and give the world a Coke and a smile? They despise, but they want to feel good about themselves. They care about your accomplishments. They want to feel good about themselves. 4,000 shootings in Chicago last year, and the mayor announces his will be a sanctuary city. The triumph of moral esteem over reality. Josh in River North, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, brother, nice to speak with you. So, yeah, I just wanted to just say a quick comment, and I gotta run. But long story short, I think these views are such a small percentage of what the actual representative population feels.
Right.
I mean, I've spoken with so many people about this issue, and they're just forcing it down our throat like this is how everybody in this country feels except for you. And if you don't support us, well, you're racist.
Yeah, exactly.
Support Trump, you're racist. And I'm just getting so sick and tired of it. I think that's why Donald Trump won.
Yeah.
That's why I think if you held an election today, he'd also win. And this viewpoint is so intolerant from the left and the alt-left, if you will, who preaches tolerance. It's like the pot calling the kettle black.
Thanks for the call, Josh. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It is a small fraction, but the challenge is sensible people speaking up rather than getting cowed and run over by this small, vocal, hysterical, thuggish minority. Because small, vocal, thuggish minorities, it's amazing what they can do if people yield to them. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. I got an off-the-wall comment with your discussion on memorials and statues. How about we ban the movie Forrest Gump?
Why is that?
Taken to the extreme. Forrest was named after Nathan Bedford Forrest, and you know who he was.
Oh, wow, boy. So we have to ban fictional characters with eponymous names. Okay, all right. Thanks for the call, Bob. Appreciate that. Paul in Lake Forest, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. Great listening to you guys, and a lot of great comments from your listeners, too.
Thanks.
I believe the absurdity of the situation is really galvanizing our side, which is echoes the comment you just made about white esteem, which was a great one-liner, by the way. Here's my point. We got to rip down that Margaret Sanger statue, the one that sits right next to Martin Luther King's in Washington.
Yeah.
She, the one who developed Planned Parenthood for the purpose of eradicating black folks before they became black folks.
Mm.
So I'll be heading out to Washington to tear that statue down today.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Paul. Jordan in Forest Park.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You know, if you take this focus on the Confederacy, to the logical conclusion, you would have to say that the left ought to start an immediate boycott of any state that was part of the Confederacy. And even further, perhaps kick them out of the United States because of all that past history.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jordan. Or at minimum, I mean, some are going to have to be renamed. You mentioned this earlier this week, Virginia. Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. That's the name that's the derivation of the name the state name Virginia. She expanded the slave trade in Britain, so we're going to have to maybe call that McAuliffe land or something.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. President Trump's crackdown on immigration is flooding Canada's border. Unemployment applications drop. Those stories next.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. If you owe the IRS or state-backed taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's good news. Due to the financial hardship many are facing in today's economy, the IRS has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Qualifying for this program will resolve your tax problem, end all collections, and possibly reduce your back taxes by up to 90%. If you are facing wage garnishments, liens, bank levies, audits, or payroll taxes, it's not too late. Your circumstances may qualify you for this special program, protecting your savings and your assets. If you owe the IRS or state-backed taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's no need to worry anymore. Call the hotline at Victory Tax Solutions to see if you qualify and potentially save thousands. For this free information, call 800-297-9738. 800-297-9738. That's 800-297-9738.
President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration is causing cases of people seeking asylum in Canada to skyrocket. Border crossings into Canada more than tripled last month, sparking a backlash as politicians try to accommodate so many asylum seekers. The Labor Department says applications for unemployment benefits fell by 12,000 last week. The number of Americans collecting unemployment is currently 1.9 million. Economic reports we're following today include an update on consumer sentiment about the economy and an address by the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. EpiPen manufacturer Mylan has finalized its $465 million settlement with the Justice Department for overcharging on the allergy treatment. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've had 10 major surgeries, including 3 brain surgeries. And I have extreme rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and fibromyalgia. And I wanted to let him know that his Balance of Nature have helped boost my immune system so much because I'm on injectable medications for the rheumatoid, and they bring down your immune system. Since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I haven't gotten a cold, nothing. It really helped me tremendously.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth, now heard regularly in 18 countries. What percentage of you listening to this commercial often say to yourself, what could I do to make more money, or how can we increase our business? I'm guessing that's most of you. Have you ever heard knock on the door and it'll open? Well, my friends at Income Store have doors you can open that can help you or your family make more money, or doors that lead to an increase in revenue for any business of any size. Income Store has 2 main doors on their website. These doors lead to over 2,000 revenue-generating ideas and products. Although a few of their products are pricey, 90+% of their growth formulas are delivered free or nearly free. Income Store's growth products and ideas have been publicized and featured on Forbes, Inc., USA Today, and recently the Biography Channel. Could your household or business use a revenue shot in the backside? Are you sick of your checkbook talking back and saying no? If so, you need to knock on the doors of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll have the latest on the Barcelona Islamic terrorist attack and discuss its implications with Colonel Cedric Layton at 7:07.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
Uber and Lyft offering refunds. We'll tell you why. Sunshine this morning, WIND Chicago News Times, 7 o'clock.
The terrorist behind the wheel is still on the loose. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
There is a massive manhunt underway for Musa Okabir. He is believed to be the driver of the van that killed 13 people here at Los Ramblas.
Fox's Connor Powell in Barcelona, where 2 hours ago there was a minute of silence, followed by that chant, thousands saying, "I'm not afraid." There have been 4 arrests.
So the picture we're getting right now of the group that tried to carry out these attacks is that it was a fairly large cell of about 9 or so people, at least 9 that we know of right now, according to Spanish authorities. This was a fairly well-planned attack involving several different locations.
And late in the seaside resort of Cambria was one of those locations. 5 attackers rammed a car into a group of people.
Like somebody who was on drugs.
Police shot and killed all 5 who were wearing fake bomb belts, and a short while ago, one of the victims, a woman, died. 6 others were hurt. President Trump condemned the terror. He'll gather today with his national security team at Camp David. Yet another Civil War-era monument has been taken down. Fox's Evan Brown has details live.
Dave, Roger B. Taney was the Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court who wrote the infamous 1857 Dred Scott decision, which upheld legal slavery and denied citizenship to African slaves. And for more than a century, a statue of him had stood outside the State House of his home state of Maryland. No more. A crane came by at 2 a.m. and lifted it off. It's being put into storage. And now today in Charlottesville, Virginia, the mayor will make an announcement about the fate of that city's Robert E. Lee statue, the monument that was the focus of last week's violent protest, Dave.
Having a Missouri state lawmakers under fire for posting on Facebook after Charlottesville, "I hope President Trump's assassinated."
I should not have done that, and it was wrong.
Maria Chappelle Nadal says she will not resign, as some of her fellow Democrats are calling for. Secret Service is investigating. Fox News, fair and balanced.
67 degrees, partly sunny skies. Winds out of the west at 9 this morning. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities are investigating an early morning shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway. A man wounded while driving near the 59th Street exiting the outbound lanes. The victim later showed up at Holy Cross Hospital. Is expected to survive the shooting. Outbound traffic was shut down between Garfield and 63rd while troopers looked for evidence at that crime scene. Chicago family on vacation in Barcelona said they had to take refuge in a store after a terror attack in the Ramblas area. Rigoberto Gomez says he was with his family when that white van jumped the curb and started ramming tourists. 2 are under arrest connected with the death of a missing Chicago woman. The arrest carried out Wednesday and yesterday by Illinois State Police in Lockport, taking into custody Jonathan Rodriguez of Blue Island and Esteban Rodriguez, formerly of Wilmington, in the case of Martha Sanchez. Chicago election officials say a file containing names, addresses, dates of birth, and other information about the city's 1.8 million registered voters was published online. Chicago Board of Election Commissioners revealed Thursday the information was uploaded to Amazon Web Services. A data security researcher alerted officials to the existence of that unsecured file. A man injured after a shooting at a CTA Red Line station in Chicago's Loop. Shooting happened last night at around 7:45 on South State Street. The search continues for the shooter. The person who was hit by the gunfire appeared to have been targeted. Leaders in Cook County say they're back in the good books of the federal food stamp managers. County yesterday says it has fixed a problem with the Cook County soda tax that threatened $87 million in countywide food stamps. Uber and Lyft are offering refunds to customers who turn to the ride-sharing services due to the CTA train line problems this week. On Tuesday morning, many CTA trains on the north side were stopped. Because of this, many turned to Uber and Lyft. This caused prices to skyrocket. Uber and Lyft say they're in the process of refunding customers. Drivers who profited will not be affected by the refunds. Reds outslugged the Cubs 13-10 at Wrigley Field. John Lester rocked for 9 runs and left with an injury. Rangers rally from a 4-0 deficit for a 9-8 win over the White Sox. Chicago starter Reynaldo Lopez had to leave with soreness in his side after being struck by a hit. Bears continue preseason play against the Cardinals in Arizona tomorrow night. The news service of CiCi's, now at CiCi's, party with the new stuffed crust trio. Bacon stuffed crust and new grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Join the original with pepperoni. Stuffed crust pizza party on the unlimited buffet for just $5 and change. CiCi's. Prices may vary for a limited time only. 7:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
What rights do employees have concerning religion in the workplace? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
Is it legal for a workplace to tell you cannot put in Christ an email form for company purposes, whereas you could wear shirts or apparel from different religions or whatever, or have different symbols from different religions in your cube.
It depends strictly on the policy of the employer. If the policy of the employer is that they don't want religious statements as part of the company's email, they have the right to say that. You could dictate what's going to be in company email. It's company material, company information that's being sent out. And for that reason alone, the company could say, look, we just don't want religious sentiment or religious statement in a formal email from employees of the company that is in fact a company email. So yes, they can do that.
For more information about your rights in the workplace, visit us on our website at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT, home, safe home.
Can you mow a yard, clean a house, haul off some junk? Then you can make extra money with the Tackle app. Tackle is an amazing new app that connects people who can perform small jobs with customers who need them done. Signing up is easy, so become a Tackle provider today. Go to tackle.com to join. That's TAKL.com. As a Tackle provider, you can be your own boss, set your own hours, and make great money. Go to TAKL.com today.
7:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Eisenhower, traffic is bottled up from North Avenue to St. Charles after a crash, and then from Wolf to Independence. It's 48 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 31 from Manhunt. How about 32 to Thorndale? Eden's just 20 minutes either way between Lake Hook and the Junction. Kennedy, 34 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose, 16 in the Express. Outbound 13 to Montrose, 29 to O'Hare. Inbound Stevenson, delay started 53, 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39. Line is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound now clear. I-57, 21 minutes, I-80 to the Burns, Bishop Ford 16. Lakeshore Drive good. Northbound Tri-State. Close Cicero to 75th, from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Reagan Tollway heavy, 3:55 to Highland. Veterans Memorial Slow, Butterfield to St. Charles. Northwest Indiana's fine. Lots of traffic this weekend with Air and Water Show Saturday and Sunday. Cubs game today. Concerts tonight at the United Center in Northerly Island. Lots of festivals and carnivals in the area. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, breezy with sun and clouds, high 82. Tonight becoming cloudy. A shower or thunderstorm around, low 64. Then tomorrow, clouds give way to some sun, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
67 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fly By Night with your host, comedian, and entertainer extraordinaire, Ken Severa. Saturdays at midnight on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So when the news broke yesterday that there was a Islamist terrorist attack in Barcelona, 13 dead at the time. Now it's
14 dead.
Right. More than 100 injured, several gravely injured.
And people from 34 different countries. And Americans were there, but so far we haven't learned of any Americans who have been injured.
And this was a truck attack, right? Crowded tourist area, 34 countries. And this individual just mowing down people.
Going 70 miles per hour.
As many people as he could. 3 people in custody, 2 Moroccans and one Spanish national. The driver still at large.
Yeah, he's 18-year-old Musa.
Who cares what his name
or
is?
whatever. But his brother, who's 28, is in police custody, and he's the one who rented the vehicle.
Or he claims, I thought, that his identification was stolen by his brother to rent the vehicle. But
but there's a second vehicle that they rented, and so they're still looking for the driver and this other vehicle.
And then there was a thwarted terrorist attack in Cambrils, a resort town about 70 miles from Barcelona.
Yeah, and this is crazy because 5 terrorists were wearing fake suicide belts, and they did ram a car into one woman died, and a police officer was injured, but they got out of the car, and police just nailed them in a hail of gunfire, and all 5 are dead.
So that was stopped in the resort town. Obviously, the attack in Barcelona not stopped. The primary Islamist terrorist, is at large. And, of course, you hear the story, and you what does it call to mind? It calls to mind all these other attacks that have been in other European cities, very similar, that have been committed by Islamofascists, like these individuals in London,
Stockholm and London,
right? Nice, right?
Berlin.
Or it could even call to mind, since it's Spain, you think, oh, gosh, it reminds me of the March 2004 train bombings right before the election, when the Spanish people then, of course, voted for the Socialist Surrender Party, which was a curious choice. But regardless, that 2004 bombing, more than 200 people killed.
It was awful.
Right?
Yeah.
Or it may call to mind something else if you work for CNN.
And it's something that not just Spanish authorities, but U.S. authorities have been aware of. But the final point I would make, Wolf, is just this note that in light of the uproar of the last several days, 5 days apart, you have white supremacists in Charlottesville use a vehicle to kill, and here you have attackers, at least following the modus operandi of terrorists, using vehicles apparently to kill as well. And those shared tactics that should be alarming.
Yeah, and there will be questions about copycats. There will be questions if what happened in Barcelona was at all a copycat version of what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, even though there may be different characters, different political ambitions. They use the same killing device, a vehicle going at high speed into a large group of pedestrians.
There has been so much hand-wringing this week about President Trump and his inappropriate moral equivalences, and I have made my own case against them. Mm-hmm. And now you have Wolf Blitzer suggesting that Barcelona was a copycat of Charlottesville. He's not familiar with the other 5 attacks in European cities just this year of a similar nature with similar tactics, all radical Islam.
If anything, Charlottesville was a copycat of what ISIS has been doing.
And so that's only part of it. The other part of it is the false equivalence between the threat white supremacy and terrorism associated with white supremacy poses to liberty in the West and the threat Islamofascists pose. Those are the same order of magnitude threats. That's what CNN is implying. Everything relates back to Charlottesville. You got to, hey, Wolf, Jim Sciutto, my national correspondent, find a way to get it back to Charlottesville. Find a way to blame Trump for the Barcelona attack, if you can, as a kicker. For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Colonel Cedric Leighton. He's a military intelligence expert and security consultant who has served both on the Joint Chiefs of Staff as well as the National Security Council. Colonel Leighton, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good to be with you.
So your reaction to the Barcelona attack, both the truck attack as well as the thwarted attack in that resort town, and is Barcelona, like London, like Paris, like Nice, like Stockholm, another European city of significance that has allowed an internal problem to metastasize?
Well, I think that's definitely the case. When you look at what happened in London, Stockholm, Berlin, Nice, and the other European cities, and you compare it with Barcelona, it's pretty clear that the tactics used were similar, and it follows ISIS's view and direction that if you don't have a bomb, you take a gun. If you don't have a gun, you take a knife. If you don't have a knife, You take a truck, and that's what they're doing. They're running out of weapons, except for the ones that are readily available for normal people to use in their everyday lives, and basically anything can be made into a weapon. But they have picked one of the things that we use in our daily lives as a pretty effective weapon, and that weapon, of course, being vehicles, in this case, trucks.
This may sound crazy, but is there any way car companies can do a better job screening people who are trying to rent large white vehicles?
Well, actually, that's not so crazy at all, Amy. Yes, I would say the answer is yes. And now what it would require is an interface between police authorities, the customs people in various countries, and the rent-a-car companies. So, yes, it would absolutely be possible to do that. The question then is, how do you work that, or is there a way in which you could disable a vehicle when you get indications that they're going to go into an area that may cause damage to pedestrians, like Las Ramblas in Barcelona.
Yeah.
So there are technical ways to do it. There are, in essence, what you'd be talking about is, if you don't do the controls that we talked about, with the border people and with the police forces, you could have a kill switch in a car. And that might be something that, if you get indications that a car is moving at a high rate of speed in an area where you're not supposed to be doing that, and where you're talking, anything above 50 miles an hour in a pedestrian zone, that would be a key indicator. Of course, that would require real-time intelligence, real-time following of vehicles, and it would be something that you'd have to use artificial intelligence, as they call it, to do that. But it can technically be done, and would be a bit of an issue for the tech companies to work. But yes, there are ways to do that.
Oh. Yeah, the driverless car era, sort of an iteration of that. But boy, but that poses all kinds of
Invasion of privacy
complications.
issues.
Well, I mean, but the flip side is, if you did it on the screening side, it would take about 3 seconds before car companies were facing lawsuits for racial profiling.
Well, that's one of the problems that you'd have. You'd have to, find a way in which to, give them less capable vehicles, or, something that, where there are tracking devices installed on them. So, you have to be careful with it, obviously, but, because you don't want to evoke the image of a police state on the one hand, but on the other hand, you want to protect innocent people. So there is always a compromise to be made with things, but there are, some very, difficult choices that people have to make, and it becomes clear that there are going to be, I think, some compromises that either rental car companies will have to make, or the authorities will find a way to work with them to help prevent these kinds of things.
Something simple, like a background check, though. I mean, I just recently rented a 9-passenger van in Stockholm and then in Nuremberg, Germany, and they didn't even look at my passport. They didn't even, nothing. A driver's license. I mean, I made the phone call from here months ago, but it's just strange that nothing was scrutinized. I mean, I don't know if because I'm blonde.
No, you're right.
But who knows?
You're right. There are certain ways, Amy, in which they could certainly up the scrutiny, and maybe you didn't fit the profile that they were looking for, and you don't. But that is that is always something that. Should be done. There should be scrutiny to make sure that people are who they say they are, because ISIS is known to try to get into organizations and to have people work for them who either don't know that they're working for them, or who look like they don't work for them, and that's always a key factor.
Yeah, but it seems to me that fundamentally here we're talking about a culture problem, and we're talking about a culture problem where you've got countries and cities that have a fifth column action occurring against them in real time. And so, yeah, some of these technological advances and intelligence advances to try and stop, of course, these massive attacks and the loss of life. But when it comes to the discussion, we got to have people assimilate. You can't have these no-go zones and so forth. The recommendations with respect to culture, whether it's the schooling or the particular houses of worship, if it becomes known that they are incubators of criminal activity. What can be done and should be considered culturally to advance this notion of assimilation that is often bandied about, but there's not a lot done in furtherance of it?
Yeah, it becomes a real difficult issue, and the only way that you can get people to integrate into a society is if you catch them at the very beginning of the process. You don't want them to be alienated as they come into a country, and it's also a factor of age. Older people are often, of a certain age at least, are less likely to change their views based on what they see than younger people are. So there are those factors, but certainly young people that come into a country, usually with their parents, sometimes without. The key thing is to bring them into society that they're joining or that they hope to join in a way that allows them to see hope, and that's a key question. Are they going to be allowed to achieve their dreams? Are they going to be allowed to at least have a minimum amount of job security or educational possibilities, just like everybody else? If their playing field is equal and it's based on talent, then they have a better chance. But of course, there are also linguistic challenges. It's a lot rougher, I think, in Europe, with some of these things for some of the people coming into these countries than it is in the United States, just because we are better at integrating people into our society. We're not perfect by any means, but we're certainly better at it than some of the other countries have been.
Yeah. He is Colonel Cedric Leighton, military intelligence expert, security consultant, who previously served on both the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the National Security Council. Colonel Leighton, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always, Dan. Always a
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. A lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Grumweedy.
For your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Rolling hills, beautiful prairie views. You can take it all in when you play golf at Golf Club of Illinois in Algonquin. Play at one of the finest golf courses in Illinois with a special seasonal deal from ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Now, the Golf Club of Illinois is a classic link-style course featuring high grasses, treacherous sand bunkers, and strategically placed mounds on each hole. The course is a stern test for all skill levels, and it's consistently ranked among the top 10 public courses to play by Chicagoland Golf. So find out why Golf Club of Illinois is a secret favorite for those looking for a unique, challenging round of golf. Play with your favorite foursome of golf buddies for only $95. That includes cart. It's usually almost a $200 deal. Or for the dedicated golfer, tee up the preferred player membership, normally $380, but only $165. That includes discounted rates for golf rounds, cart, and 2 bonus rounds of golf during the 2017 season. For more warm weather deals and fun deals, just visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Americans have the right and advantage of being armed, unlike the citizens of other countries whose governments are afraid to trust the people with arms. James Madison, Federalist Papers. Our founders recognized that the common individual needs to be trusted, but with trust, there must be common sense and personal responsibility. This is especially true of handguns. If you've been thinking of making a purchase, visit the Range at 355. The Range at 355 is so much more than a state-of-the-art shooting range. It is a fully stocked showroom carrying a variety of firearms with brands like Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, HKs, and Glock. The Range at 355 offers Illinois concealed carry license training and a full curriculum of classes designed to teach you what you need to know to be a responsible gun owner and concealed carrier. Their professional team will train you like a pro. Founded by patriots like you, providing professional guidance and courteous instruction. Trust your skills to the pros at the Range at 355. For range hours and class info, visit range355.com. range355.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Attention, it is illegal to text and drive. So if you're experiencing hair loss and you want a permanent solution, please pull over now, because an incredible offer that could give you your hair back is just one text away. Bosley is the world's most experienced hair restoration expert, always pioneering the latest technology. And now, we're giving everyone who texts GROW to 543-543. An absolutely free information kit that reveals just how easy and affordable this permanent solution really is. Don't wait. When you text GROW to 543-543, we'll also give you a gift card for $250 off. Millions of men and women have come to Bosley for a permanent solution to hair loss. So pull over now and see for yourself how great your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit. Text GROW to 543-543. Plus, get a free gift card. This amazing offer is just one text away. GROW to 543-543.
Schrank Smoke & Gun is excited to announce their zero tax deal for all store-owned firearms, ammo, and accessories in August. The price you see is the price you pay. Plus, AM 560 listeners get a free box of range ammo with all firearm purchases. You already know Schrank's has Lake County's largest selection of new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, and full gunsmith services. And that in Schrank's humidors you'll find a great selection of your favorite cigars. But this August offer is huge. Zero tax on all firearms, ammos, accessories, and a free box of range ammo when you purchase a firearm. Find out for yourself why Schrank's is the firearm store generations of customers trust. Visit gun.org or call 877-662-4034. Like Schrank's on Facebook and keep up with Schrank's valuable series of employee product and service recommendations. Schrank Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
I hate water softeners. I really hate softeners. I hate the thought of lugging salt and that it ruins septic systems. But I hate hard water that causes limescale, which costs thousands in appliance damage and wasted energy.
Stop hating and start loving again with the HydroCare Smart Descaler from Wave Home Solutions. Prevent and eliminate limescale the smart way. No maintenance, no salt, no plumbing required, and better than magnetic wraps. 1 year performance guaranteed. Go to IHateMySoftener.com. IHateMySoftener.com.
Yes, indeed, summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot, gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
War on Cops author Heather McDonald joins us to discuss a new Stanford study on police bias. And unlike the Antifa leftists on the campus of Claremont McKenna, we're going to let her talk. That's at 7:37.
And later, President Trump doesn't seem to have any Republican senator friends, what this means for him in the future. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say hello once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 67 and partly sunny. This morning's launch of an Atlas V rocket carrying a key NASA satellite is delayed. Managers and engineers at Cape Canaveral are evaluating what's being called a technical issue. Spanish police say they've killed 5 men trying to launch another terror attack. Authorities in the beach city of Cambrai say the attack injured 7, including 1 police officer. Cambrai is about 75 miles south of Barcelona, and Sky News' Mark White is on the scene.
We're told 6 civilians and 1 police officer have been hurt when a car drove into people in that seaside resort. As part of that police operation, that response to this terrorist attack, a number of attackers were shot.
Sky News' Mark White in Barcelona. Police believe the 2 incidents are connected. Both involve vehicles intentionally ramming pedestrians. 14 have died in the first attack in Barcelona, over 100 hurt. The Secret Service investigating a Missouri lawmaker who said she hoped President Trump would be assassinated. Democratic State Senator Maria Nadal has deleted the Facebook comment, apologized, and says she will not resign. Authorities investigating an early morning shooting on Chicago's Dan Ryan Expressway near 59th Street in the outbound lanes. 2 are under arrest, connected with the death of a missing Chicago woman. The arrest carried out Wednesday and yesterday by Illinois State Police in Lockport. The suspects taken into custody in the case of Martha Sanchez have been identified as Jonathan and Esteban Rodriguez. Federal prosecutors may have incriminating recordings in their extortion case against a top Teamsters union boss. The FBI made secret recordings at Cinespace Chicago's studios, the West Side business from which John Colley Sr. allegedly demanded $100,000 in cash. The recordings reportedly captured the voices of Colley and the studio president. The studios where the hit NBC shows Chicago Fire and Chicago PD are filmed, and where Mayor Emanuel launched his re-election campaign in 2014. Reds beat the Cubs 13-10 at Wrigley Field. However, John Lester was rocked for 9 runs and left with an injury. Rangers rally from a 4-0 deficit to beat the White Sox in the opener of a 4-game set in Texas, 9-8. The news is a service of Cabela's. Get ready for fall. Time for you to head to nature's classroom. But first, come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days with special events and giveaways, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting at 8 a.m. Saturday, August 19th. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com. 7:33, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Dennis Prager Show. The Dennis Prager Show.
I wish it were different. It is a civil war in this country. YouTube and Google and the universities and the media are all on the left and wish to squash us. Do you understand that? If you don't, you're a fool.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days with special events and giveaways, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting 8 a.m. Saturday, August 19th. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and too often people tell me that they have heard our advertisements for years. If Balance of Nature is not currently being delivered to your doorstep, start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life. Call and see how you can get your free month's supply.
I noticed a difference in the first month.
I got rid of most of my other vitamin. I feel pretty good, even though I'm an old guy, 77. I think it's doing great.
I just feel good. I just believe they're really what they say they are.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to find out how to get your free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
7:34. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has delays from Cumberland to the Burn Circle. It's 43 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 19 from Montrose, 16 in the Express. Outbound 14 minutes to Montrose and 36 to O'Hare. Edens, 19 minutes, like Cook to Junction. Outbound 28. Don Eisenhower. Delays start at 25th Avenue now. 57 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 44 from Manheim. Outbound 42 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 15. Northbound Tri-State, bottled up from 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Veterans Memorial slows 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Butterfield to St. Charles. The other tollways are good. Traffic, service of LL Bean. LL Bean every school year is a new adventure, and now you can get 20% off book bags, kids' clothing, more of the stuff every student needs. Visit LL Bean in Chicago today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A breezy day ahead. Sun and clouds at a high near 82. Cloudy with a shower or storm around overnight, lows 64. Clouds giving way to sun and 83 for a high temp tomorrow. Currently 67. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Michael Eric Dyson was on CNN this week a lot, the radical left blowhard that he is. Here's the position of the left as articulated, as well as it can be, I suppose, by Michael Eric Dyson, with respect to Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Listen up, Michael Eric Dyson.
This man is lethally ignorant, incapable of even having a kindergarten's comprehension of the history of race. And for those who say, look, the Confederacy is about history and heritage, it is. The history and heritage of racism, the history and heritage of bigotry, building their sense of biological and, in many cases, theological and national identity upon a lie, a mythology of white supremacy, the belief that some people are inherently superior and some people are inherently inferior. For the president then to defend the actions against taking down Robert E. Lee or Stonewall Jackson, and remember, these people hated America enough to want to secede from it. The people that we claim, Black Lives Matter, the Antifa movement, and so on, are interested in preserving the fabric of America. Mr. Miller says, again, that there was violence there, but the problem is to equate the violence in reaction against bigotry with the bigotry itself is to misunderstand the fact that when you go to cancer treatment, the radiation is tough treatment, but it is meant to remove the cancer.
The key phrase there in all of that was Black Lives Matter and Antifa, or Antifa.
What do you say? Are you Antifa or Antifa? It's like Kofifi.
I'm an Antifa, but I I'm sort of agnostic on it. If you want me to say Antifa, I will. It's up to you. If you think
Antifa
about it.
sounds a little more street.
Yeah. Okay.
Antifa.
Well,
Jennifer.
Black Lives Matter and Antifa are preserving the fabric of American society. They're what's holding us together. Is that right? For more on this topic, as well as a new Stanford University study on police bias that has not gotten a lot of attention but deserves some, we're pleased to be joined by War on Cops author Heather Mac Donald. Heather, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Dan.
And again, we are not Claremont McKenna leftists, so we will let you speak. We just wanted to say that up front.
I'm not used to getting a sentence out. This could be a novel experience.
Well, what about that Black Lives Matter, particularly because that really brings in police, but even Antifa, they have had their clashes with police. They had clashes with Chicago police just the other day, this week. What about those organizations, if you will, as the leading preservationists of American fabric?
It's preposterous. As abhorrent as the white identity politics is, that is a reaction to black identity politics. You know, the idea that these left-wing groups are about unity and preservation is preposterous. They're putting out a nonstop stream of vitriol against American society, against the police, against white males generally, which is just the constant subject of vituperation, of claiming of racism, bigotry, lethal racism, and they've had their own just appalling bouts of violence. Now, again, the fact that somebody was killed at that Charlottesville rally cannot be dismissed by, well, they do it too. I mean, that was incredibly a threat to civilization. But again, there were 5 officers assassinated in Dallas in July of last year by an assassin inspired by Black Lives Matter, whose goal was to kill white people and white cops in particular. Later that month, another 3 cops assassinated in Baton Rouge. This year, just a month ago, a female officer in New York Police Department assassinated while sitting in her car in the Bronx, trying to keep that neighborhood safe. So that is an ideology that is, I would say, if you want to count the numbers, has produced in recent times much more violence and hatred than what Dyson would view as kind of mainstream America.
Just to follow up on that, because you mentioned the 5 police officers in Dallas who were assassinated, and that being at least in part, at minimum in part, a racial issue.
No, excuse me, it's 100% a racial issue.
Okay. The issue of the response. The response to Charlottesville, heinous, indefensible as that murder was, is rallies, protests on the streets of Chicago, midnight vigils. The response to the murder of police officers, whether in Dallas or New York, as you mentioned, is police officers rallying around a fallen officer. I don't see organic rallies, protests of violence towards police popping up in major cities in America when something like what happened in Dallas or what happened in New York happens. What does that say about where we're at?
Well, that's a very chilling observation, Dan, and there's not much you can say in response because it's so true. Obviously, the police have been demonized by not just the activists out there in the street shouting CPD, KKK, how many kids did you kill today?
Yeah.
The answer is almost invariably 0. I mean, last year you had 4,300 people shot in Chicago. If you believed that chant, if you believed President Obama, who says that black parents are right to fear that their kid could be killed by a cop every time the child goes out into the street. When did he say that? At the memorial service for the Dallas officers. If you believe that, you'd think, well, those cops in Chicago were shooting a lot of Chicagoans, pretty busy police force. In fact, last year, the Chicago cops shot 20 people, virtually all armed or dangerous. That's 0.5% of all those shooting victims in Chicago last year. But there's nevertheless this narrative that the police are engaged in lethal violence against black people. And so when they're shot, I don't know if it's just viewed as, well, job hazard or they've got it coming. I mean, you can find lots of messages on social media of gloating whenever there is a cop assassination, saying, celebrating the shooter. But to be honest, I'm sure there's people in the white supremacist group that are gloating about what happened in Charlottesville. I don't know that for a fact, but sure. I cannot rule it out.
Well, speaking of presidential behavior, I mean, you just spoke about President Obama. What about President Trump, refusing to call out the white nationalists who organized the event when he had an opportunity on Saturday? So if he doesn't denounce these groups, doesn't it embolden them or empower them in some way?
I think he should have denounced them by name. On the other hand, I think he's made this much worse, and he's allowed the left to gain the upper hand, and don the mantle of virtue, which I think is unfortunate. On the other hand, there's a part of me that it's in somewhat of awe of his refusal to back down on saying that there was violence on both sides, not ultimately lethal violence on the part of the left. But he's absolutely right that both sides, by eyewitness accounts from the New York Times no less, were equally at each other's throats, equally destroying our civil peace. And certainly in the last year, the violence, the Antifa violence, whether it's in Berkeley or Portland or Oakland, has been, it's exclusively an anti-Trump left-wing idea, where the idea is you can go up and sucker punch perceived Trump supporters. So on this point that there was violence on both sides, Trump is right, but it would have, I would have hoped, short-circuited this current media frenzy if he had named the white supremacists. But obviously Trump is not himself a bigot. I think he's just stubborn on some issues.
You had a recent piece in City Journal of Manhattan Institute, city-journal.org, Conjuring Disrespect, and you tackle a study that was produced by psychologists and linguists at Stanford University about police officers' conduct in Oakland, California. And a very good piece, very detailed. And it calls to mind the Star Chamber that was put together here in Chicago by our mayor, Tiny Dancer, to examine Chicago police and essentially bootstrap the Chicago police, nearly half of whom are black and Hispanic, are systemically racist, looking to treat minority families different than they treat white families. That was essentially the conclusion of the report that Emanuel commissioned here, and it seems like you've got more academic work product that is pursuing that line of that line of argumentation as well. And this Stanford University study is such a case. You kind of dissect it and disassemble it. And I just wanted you to comment on what the Stanford researchers did, because you've got that Stanford imprimatur on it, and what it really means about police officers in Oakland, California.
Well, it has the Stanford imprimatur. It also has the imprimatur of the National Academy of Sciences, where this was published, and got widespread media coverage, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, Science magazine. So this was viewed as sort of the gold standard for empirical research on the police. What they did was use transcripts of traffic stops from police officer body cameras to try and analyze verbal interactions between black and white drivers and the cops. And it was a done conclusion. I mean, it's a standard academic work product, which is the Academy today is committed to the idea of systemic police racism. And so they had their conclusion, and then they wanted to figure out a way to massage the data. The conclusion was going to be that officers treat black drivers less respectfully than whites. The actual signs of disrespect that the stuff they could get their hands on was absolutely trivial. If your readers can guess whether it's respectful to say in the middle of a phrase like let me see your driver's license, or that's you, that repeated phrase, one is respectful, one is disrespectful. Then they've got a career ahead of them in bias psychology. The most disrespectful phrase that the study researchers could come up with was Steve, first name. Can I see that driver's license again? It's showing suspended. That's you? That was the most disrespectful phrase they could come up with in their study. The second most disrespectful phrase was, all right, my man, do me a favor. Just keep your hands on the steering wheel real quick. That they view as a sign of disrespect. If these types of questions that are simply what officers say in the course of their duty are now viewed as disrespectful because they're asking a question, which was a no-no, they're using the phrase, please keep your hands on the wheel, which they say is on the disrespect scale very low. Well, guess why an officer may say that? Because the driver is out with a parole outstanding, for violent gun crime or is not complying with the officer command, if those are now deemed out of bounds, policing is over. Nevertheless, this study has been spun as another mark against the police and has simply contributed to a phony anti-police narrative.
She is Heather Mac Donald, contributing editor for the City Journal, where you can read her piece, Conjuring Disrespect, and you should. She's also the author, of course, of the bestseller, The War on Cops. Heather Mac Donald, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan and Amy.
Thank you. And she joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today, some clouds, but you'll see that sun, a high of 82. Tonight, a passing shower, thunderstorm, and your air and water show weekend looks spectacular. 83 on Saturday, and on Sunday, we're going to hit 90. Now let's go into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Eden's inbound delay started Foster, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 28. Kennedy, slow starting at Nagel, 41 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 36. Inbound Eisenhower, 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 35 from Manhunt, outbound 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Orion, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. On the inbound Bishop Ford, a delay simply to the Steel Bridge, crash in the right lane. Tri-State southbound, stop and go 21 to 176, pretty big delay. Northbound, from 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Veterans Memorial slow, 75th most of the way to St. Charles. The other tollways are looking good right now. In Northwest Indiana, it's delay-free. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, you've heard about our friends at Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. They're well known for excellent customer service, including custom designs and jewelry repairs by their on-site expert craftsmen. They're knowledgeable and friendly. Their staff always ensures that you'll feel like family when you're at Roland's. Now they're offering a special family incentive for AM 560 listeners, 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. Just mention Dan and Amy and receive this exclusive offer. Roland's Jewelers has a large selection of beautiful engagement rings and is a direct diamond importer. So take advantage of wholesale prices on quality loose diamonds, as well as fine jewelry from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon G., John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. And don't forget to mention us, Dan and Amy, for that special 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. Visit RolandsJewelers.com or call 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
Does how you feel interfere with your lifestyle? Take control before it does. Harvard Medical recently published a paper on how to decrease your risk of cancer, heart disease, blood pressure, diabetes, bowel and vision problems. The answer, backed by dozens of studies, is not vitamins. It's eating more fruits and vegetables in their whole, complete form. 4 simple tips that I've used with my patients over the years are: 1. Keep fruits and vegetables where you can see them readily. 2. Get crazy. Explore the produce aisle and choose something new. 3. Make it a meal. Try new recipes that include more vegetables and fruits. And the easiest of all, to get the complete nutrition of 31 different fruits and vegetables every day, take Balance of Nature.
What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Should a free society be governed by those with the humility attendant to faith, or those who feature unrestrained emotion? Someone who governs by emotion might not believe he's an angel. He might believe he's done some bad things, but he also believes he can set all that aside. Once a political leader believes that he can think and feel in a sin-free way, there's nothing to constrain the newfound purity of his actions, regardless of their consequences. This is what Flannery O'Connor meant when she wrote, "In the absence of faith, we govern by tenderness, and tenderness leads to the gas chamber." Tenderness is the foundation of totalitarianism. It's how otherwise sophisticated people indulge barbarism. It's how heterodox thoughts are repressed under the guise of tolerance. It's how religious freedom is marginalized and private property seized. It's how science is subordinated to ideology. It's how a free society gives away its freedom. The faithful pluralist, by contrast, is skeptical about his emotional read on things because he understands he's influenced by sin in ways that are not always evident. In politics, such a leader is hesitant to extend his power as a result. So which are you, the faithful pluralist or the sophisticated barbarian? Your freedom depends on your answer.
Let's face it, most people don't look forward to taking their car in for repairs, but regular maintenance is crucial to preserving the investment you've made in your car. At Midwest Performance Cars, we take the pain out of maintaining your European vehicle by performing a thorough 40-point digital inspection complete with pictures. We will send your car's report and our written estimate out to you by email, text message, or phone, so you can be confident in our recommendations and can see for yourself what your car needs. We repair, road test, and wash your vehicle in preparation for pickup, then take the time to explain exactly what work was performed. We'll even remind you when your next service is due. Leave the responsibility for your vehicle maintenance up to us. At Midwest Performance Cars, we're looking out for the health of your Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, or other European nameplate. In Chicago at 1385 West Lake Street, book your appointment online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com or call us at 312-432-9492. And coming this summer, we will be opening our second MPC location in Northbrook, Illinois.
Discover Westmont, a community nestled in the heart of DuPage County. With top-notch schools, beautiful affordable housing, and excellent dining and shopping, Westmont makes a great place to live, work, and play. Choose Westmont. Discover how your business can flourish and grow with a wonderful central location providing rapid access to Chicago's key expressways, airports, and many family-friendly amenities. Add quick transportation on the Burlington train line, and that means simple and easy travel for everyone. Westmont is committed to working collaboratively with you to facilitate inquiries about your family or business relocation. We'll help your company navigate to Westmont for a great experience. Call Larry Forsberg at Westmont Economic Development at 630-824-9337. That's 630-824-9337 to find out about incentives that can help you plan your development, relocation, or expansion. Discover all Westmont has to offer. For more information, visit ChooseWestmont.com. That's ChooseWestmont.com.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear from Jim, who just completed a no-cost refinance with Townstone Financial.
We went through the experience with Townstone. The experience was amazing. We had a point person that took control of the refi. The communication was specific and exactly what we needed to do. That I was never in the dark in the process. So I knew when I needed to get documents. I knew exactly what I needed. I would recommend Townstone to anybody, and I do.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage license C 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Your logo is your brand, your reputation. It's your most valuable asset. So what's the best thing to do with it? Give it away. When the experts at 4imprint put your logo on the right promotional products, giving those items away can make a lasting impression, empower your brand, and attract new customers. In fact, we'll prove it by revealing the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free. Simply text the keyword GIVE to 642-642. We don't just print your logo. We're here to help you every step of the way. The 4imprint team can make your logo shine on your choice of thousands of promotional items, all delivered on time at great prices with free art assistance and outstanding customer service that's second to none. Want to turn your logo into profit? Give it away. Discover the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free by texting GIVE to 642-642. That's GIVE to 642-642.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Since we're ending history, we're going to need to take down the Lyric Opera building downtown. I'll explain why at 8:08.
And later, President Trump botched another response to a terrorist attack, tweeting about a military myth. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Uber and Lyft offering refunds for CTA problems. We'll tell you why. Cook County says they have a fix for their soda tax problem. Man shot on a Red Line train. Police continue to look for that shooter. Rangers rally past the White Sox. Partly sunny day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
A 4th arrest and a 14th death in Spain. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Shots was fired. He then fell down.
and then within 2 seconds he stood back up.
He was there when police shot 5 terrorists, stopping a second attack in Cambrils hours after Barcelona, and he says when the guy got up, he
charged the police again, and the police then gave some more shots, and then he fell down again.
All 5 are now dead. So is one of the victims they drove a car into. 6 others were injured. More than a dozen are critical in Barcelona, out of the more than 100 injured yesterday when a man who's still on the loose drove that white van into pedestrians, killing 13. 4 others have been arrested.
From the police viewpoint, the objective is to clarify the facts and arrest the criminals as soon as possible, and to avoid that in the future similar and dramatic events could take place.
Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy says this is a global battle against terrorists. President Trump's focusing on our security. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Following the Spain terror attacks, the president tweeting this morning, Homeland Security and law enforcement are on alert and closely watching for any sign of trouble. Our borders are far tougher than ever before. The president's meeting at Camp David with his national security team this afternoon and will focus in part on ways the U.S. can prevent similar attacks here at home. Also on the agenda, North Korea and Afghanistan. Dave?
John, an Ohio man who pleaded guilty to plotting to kill U.S. troops will be sentenced today. Abdul Sheikh Mohammed's lawyer says a long prison term isn't necessary because he now realizes terror is immoral and illegal. Another monument tied to the Civil War was taken down overnight from the Maryland State House grounds, a Roger Taney statue. He was the the U.S. Supreme Court justice who authored the Dred Scott decision that kept slavery in place. And that was brought down around 2 a.m. Fox News, fair and balanced.
67 degrees, partly sunny skies at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Authorities are investigating an early morning shooting along Chicago's Dan Ryan Expressway. A man wounded while driving near the 59th Street exit. Victim showed up later at Holy Cross Hospital and is expected to survive. 2 are under arrest this morning, connected with the death of a missing Chicago woman. The arrests were carried out Wednesday and yesterday by Illinois State Police in Lockport. The suspects taken into custody in the case of Martha Sanchez, identified as Jonathan Rodriguez of Blue Island and Esteban Rodriguez, formerly of Wilmington. A man injured, targeted, police say, by a shooter on the platform of the CTA Red Line station on South State Street in Chicago's Loop. The victim was shot in the left arm and ankle, taken to Northwestern Memorial Hospital in serious but stable condition. That shooter is currently being sought by Chicago police. Leaders in Cook County say they're back in the good books of federal food stamp managers. County yesterday said it fixed the problem with the Cook County soda tax that threatened $87 million in food stamps. Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White going back on his word, breaking a political promise not to run again for Secretary of State. The elderly Democrat yesterday telling Democrats in Springfield he plans to run again next year. Reds outslugged the Cubs 13-10. Rangers rallied to beat the White Sox 9-8. The news a service of Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care users say that it's like the Hoover Dam, but for the armpits. Well, if it can hold back that much sweat, it must be good. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. 8:04 time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Carol Zimmer.
From the Fox Business Network, Asian stocks tumbling after terrorists struck a crowded street in Barcelona. That shook markets. The Dow lost 274 points, the biggest drop in 3 months. China is limiting its own companies from investing overseas in order to reduce financial risk. The authorities will also ban overseas investment in gambling. The Chinese government is trying to cut capital outflows that weaken its currency, the yuan. Shares of Estee Lauder heading higher in pre-market trading. That's after the beauty company reported earnings and revenue that beat estimates. Skincare sales were higher, with La Mer showing double-digit gains, and the Tom Ford and Smashbox brands also doing well. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder explains what the president has done for the economy.
Just having a president who doesn't believe in imposing gargantuan rules and regulations to fight climate change. Just having a president who feels that our corporate tax rate is too high. Just having a president who does not want to raise the minimum wage to $15. That alone is a sea change. Just the fact that he isn't Hillary is a huge deal.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Home isn't just a place. It's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, we help keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance. So you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT. Home. Safe home.
Can you mow a yard, clean a house, haul off some junk? Then you can make extra money with the Tackle app. Tackle is an amazing new app that connects people who can perform small jobs with customers who need them done. Signing up is easy, so become a Tackle provider today. Go to Tackle.com to join. That's TAKL.com. As a Tackle provider, you can be your own boss, set your own hours, and make great money. Go to TAKL.com today.
8:06. Let's get an update on the roads. Your morning commute details in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens, just a little heavy. Elston to Montrose, 20 minutes from Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound, it's 28. Down Kennedy, delays are from Nagel to the Burn Circle. 41 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 27 from Montrose, 18 in the Express. Outbound, 16 minutes to Montrose, 37 to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, heavy North Avenue to the Tri-State and 25th to the Circle. 50 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 35 from Manhunt. Outbound, 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 55 minutes now. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 38. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive is pretty light right now, good in both directions. Southbound Tri-State has delays from 120 to Atkinson. Northbound from the Stevenson to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Veterans Memorial, slow southbound Army Trail to St. Charles. Northbound 75th most of the way to St. Charles. Slight delays on 53 in both directions approaching Kirchhoff. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Breezy today with sun and clouds, high 82, then becoming cloudy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm in the area, low 64. Clouds followed by some sun tomorrow, high 83, and a starlit night tomorrow night, low 64. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
69 at O'Hare, 70 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump tweeting yesterday, sad to see the history and culture of our great country being ripped apart with the removal of our beautiful statues and monuments. You can't change history, but you can learn from it. Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson. Who's next? Washington, Jefferson. So foolish. Also, the beauty is being taken out of our cities, towns, and parks will be greatly missed and never be able to be comparably replaced. Those are Trump's tweets. Agree with him about the beautiful statues and monuments, changing the history. 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. Meanwhile, some vandals are getting a jump start on the ending of history, striking Robert E. Lee statue at Duke Chapel on the campus of Duke University. You got calls for all the Confederate statues to be removed from the U.S. Capitol, from Nancy Pelosi. You got an Abraham Lincoln Memorial here, monument, in Inglewood in Chicago that was defaced. It sprayed with a flammable liquid and it ignited the bust of Lincoln in Inglewood.
In Arizona, they tarred and feathered a Confederate statue there.
You got Vice magazine advocating that Mount Rushmore be blown up.
That's just stupid. I mean, really, if it's so offensive, the statue to you, then just walk away from the darn statue.
Well,
I mean, it's just real simple.
Here's the thing, and this gets a little uncomfortable. I hate to break it to folks here, but we got some problems in Chicago, and it's not just Jackson and Washington Park.
Yeah, which, by the way, Mayor Emanuel is going to keep the names. He's not going to rename either park.
Somebody made this point. I can't remember exactly who, but one of the things, Baltimore, the mayor of Baltimore removing the statues in the cover of darkness.
You're right.
There's I understand that public spaces, it's a community standards issue, representative republic form of government that we have. Your elected officials can make these decisions, but even if you agree with the removal of statues, do you agree with it just being done in the cover of night by politicians, or should there be a little bit of a discussion locally about what's in this park or that park, about the name of this park or that park?
Wasn't the city council deciding? I mean, like their local city council is deciding whether or not a statue comes down.
In Charlottesville, the mayor is going to make an announcement today, I think.
Yeah.
About the Robert E. Lee statue.
But you're saying there should be public input before they decide what to do?
I'm asking. Don't you think so? I'm asking. You think?
Yeah. 312-642-5600 is our Turkey.pro.
Since people are paying for the parks, should they at least be heard on the topic before elected officials make a decision? I don't know. That seems sort of American approach to it. But that's me. By the way, we got some other problems in Chicago, though. It won't surprise you. Balboa Drive.
Oh, yeah, Balboa. What?
Yeah, you know who Balboa Drive is named after.
Balboa?
Yeah, Balboa. Exactly.
Wait, is Columbus
you
Drive
nailed
named
it.
after
I'll
Columbus?
tell you, this is like Groucho Marx and Who's Buried in Grant's Tomb. You're playing along brilliantly. It's named after Italio Balbo. Italio
Balbo.
Yeah, exactly. This gives you an opportunity to do your...
Bada bing, I got a guy.
Right.
Well, you busted my onions.
Exactly. That's exactly what Italio Balbo said as the head of Italy's Air Force under Mussolini.
Oh, yeah, take that down.
When for the 1933 Chicago World's Fair, a squadron of Italian seaplanes flew across the Atlantic Ocean, landed on Lake Michigan. They were commanded by Italio Balbo.
Hey!
Exactly. Who spoke like a sweat hog, spoke like Vinnie Barbarino. He was a caricature of an Italian. But it was Mussolini's fascist Italy, and thus the street name. So what do you think about that? By command of Benito Mussolini, presents to Chicago exaltation symbol memorial of the Atlantic Squadron led by Balbo, that with Roman daring flew across the ocean in this 11th year of the fascist era. That's the inscription. So Balboa Drive, that's got to go, right? Last season, for those of you who are lyric opera fans like myself, you can't be anymore. We're going to have to burn the lyric opera down.
Why?
Or some such thing. Last season, they did Wagner's Ring Cycle.
Yeah.
Wagner.
Oh.
You know, I mean, I know his work was sort of expropriated after his death by the Nazis, but there's some question about Wagner's own anti-Semitic, anti-miscegenation of the races views, and then the fact, who cares? There's no limiting principle. So even if that's not true about it's not true about Wagner. Even if that's not true, you still have his operas being enjoyed by Hitler and the Nazi regime, his music appropriated by the Third Reich. So even if it's not Wagner's fault, even if it isn't, who cares? There's no limiting principle here. We're ending history. So not only do those operas need to never be performed again, the houses in which they have been performed need to be torn down, don't they? Yeah. I mean, let's end this thing. Let's end it all. Jim in Elk Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Long-time listener. I'm the guy that sent you the line that you used during the campaign that Clinton rented out the Lincoln bedroom, but Hillary rented out the whole State Department. But my point is that people don't even know, like you said, they don't know their history. Robert E. Lee was against slavery. He was against secession. The only reason he fought on the Virginia side was that he didn't want to fight against his neighbors in Virginia.
No.
I think there's a little more to that.
Yeah, that's not
Nothing
accurate.
but ticking off everybody, and I think it's going to expand Trump's base.
Okay, thanks for the call, Jim. In terms of Robert E. Lee, I know that was something even Dinesh D'Souza recently said, and that's not the whole story. That's not true about Robert E. Lee. He was a slave owner, and who believed slavery was evil, but he also believed God had ordained it for the divine purpose of civilizing black people. So that's not correct. That's not good. That's not right. Let me read you something from Robert E. Lee, because I assume this would come up. So I looked up what he said on the topic. While we see the course of the final abolition of human slavery is onward, and we give it the aid of our prayers and all justifiable means in our power, we must leave the progress as well as the result in the hands of he who sees the end, who chooses to work by slow influences, and with whom 2,000 years are but a single day. He goes on to argue that God had ordained slavery to civilize the black race, and that black people heavily benefited from the institution. So, it's a mixed record in terms of Robert E. Lee's beliefs, just talking about his beliefs, but it's not he was opposed to slavery, and that's the final verdict on Robert E. Lee. That's not the case. David and Skokie are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. I had a real quick question. Again, I'm not a liberal, so I don't think people should, change their life because of my feelings. But one thing I wanted to point out is that there are a lot of people that stood for bad ideals, and that may be a difference between history and offense. Not everybody that lived in the past tense, gets to hide under the fact of history just because they lived 100 years ago. If they were bad people, they deserve to be, not commemorated or be infamous. So, for example, if there was a Hitler statue downtown Chicago, everybody would agree to take it down. Why does it change by people that stood for bad ideals and bad motives?
Because there's two issues, David. One is judging people by today's standards, which is I'm just laying out the topics that have to be addressed. That's one issue. And then the other issue is the nature of the mixed record. George Washington owned slaves. Is that the final verdict on George Washington?
True, but let's say Tom Ford. Let's say Henry Ford on supporting Nazi Hitler.
Yeah.
So we should have a statue of Henry Ford. I mean, they should go down to Greenfield Village in Michigan and tear down his house.
Well, okay, and so we should all go to D.C. and tear down the FDR memorials too if he interned Japanese Americans. Right?
Okay, I mean, so where does it stop? And you say history versus
that's what I'm saying is there's no limiting principle here. If it's about finding something that people who are exalted or memorialized did wrong, and there are degrees to this. Okay, as you said, you gave an example, of course, the obvious one, Hitler. But even with respect to slavery, I think there's an idea that was bouncing around. I think it was the mayor of Richmond who suggested, keep these statues up because we don't want to erase history. Give the full story. So you don't have to lionize Robert Lee. You don't have to give him an unqualified, he's a American icon or he's even a Southern icon. Give the whole story on Robert E. Lee like we were just talking about, just using him as an example. Give the whole story on FDR. Give the whole story on George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, which many of us know, but a lot of us don't, and particularly people who are young. So the idea is don't whitewash history and eliminate it, but you don't have to give it a stylized version based on who you like and who you don't, or your political affiliation, whatever. Tell the facts as we know them, and let people make their own judgments. But so that's a way to be honest, but not to do what the Antifa left wants to do, which is to end history and start it anew today.
Well, I think they just want to have everybody that was either pro-gay rights or, anti-racist since the 1700s or 1500s, which didn't really exist back then. Anybody else would be offensive to them.
Yeah, right.
But, you have to agree. You have to agree that there's some point where history could be offensive to people.
Well, history.
It is offensive.
Yeah, the Holocaust is offensive to me, but I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen. I don't care.
You don't have a statue. So you have a statue for a Holocaust museum. You don't have a statue for the Nazis, right?
Well, that's right. So, yes, exactly.
So they should have African American culture museums and and teach you what happened. Not necessarily have a Ku Klux Klan museum. I'm not saying they have that.
Well,
but not glorifying the other side.
I'm not talking about glorifying anybody. You heard what I just said. I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm not talking about glorifying. I'm telling the whole story. You think that Holocaust museums tell the whole story about the Nazis? We were victims of somebody. No, they tell the whole story. So the whole story should be told. And that's why I said before, I'm kind of in the Rich Lowry camp. You want to remove some of these monuments to Confederate generals and soldiers? Fine. Put them in a museum.
That's what they say that they're doing. They're not being destroyed. They're going to be placed in storage, and then they're going to find a home.
It's going to be difficult to put the Washington Monument in a museum, okay?
Or even storage, yes.
And that's bogus. And Amy, that's bogus because it's a matter of time until the leftists want to take on the museum. So.
Well, I understand. I'm not. Well, of course, the left is bogus by definition. So I'm saying what I think is a reasonable approach to this whole matter. So it's not getting into, who's ever in power or whoever is able to subjugate enough people to their will gets to decide what our history is. And so you're gone, these people are gone tomorrow. And as other people have argued, boy, you get white nationalists in power, and then all of a sudden the history of the civil rights movement is expunged. Do we want it to be that? Like we have with the law these days, the rule of men instead of the rule of law? Do we want to get who's ever in power gets to write the history? I don't think we want that. Thanks for the call, David. Appreciate it. Jamie in Woodstock.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey.
Two quick things I got to say. I think this quote-unquote protesting is basically, it would be like the exact same thing if Jewish people went to Germany and protested the Holocaust. Like, it's not something that would happen. And then the other thing you were talking about earlier, should we fight another civil war? I'm only 19. I've been saying since I was 14, 15 that I'm going to see another civil war in my lifetime, whether it be in the next 5, 10 years or the next 50 years, I don't know. But there will be something.
Thanks for the call, Jamie. It's kind of a chilling remark, but you don't think that's possible? I'll tell you what. It's this brother versus brother and kind of, what happened 160 years ago. But there's something brewing in this country. We talk about it every day. You think these college campuses, the violence on college campuses, and then the violence spilling out into the streets and the violence against police and, and these, idiot white supremacists and the Antifa, you don't think this has the possibility to be Tinder? Yeah, I think that's naive. I think it's real naive. People who are having their businesses taken away, their employment opportunities curtailed, their free speech rights denied. That's all going to happen without consequence, is it? I don't think so. Mike in Park Ridge.
The point of history is to learn from the past. The Democrat politicians that are removing these statues are overplaying their hand, akin to expanding NATO into former Soviet territories or overthrowing the Egypt dictator as Putin is watching and Assad is watching from Syria. Now we have 5 million people dead or displaced out of Syria because there's a counter reaction. And the same is true with these. I heard on your show, David French aptly described the South as an open-air museum. We should learn from the past so we can avoid another civil war.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
That's what I've been saying all along. And also, too, keep the statues there to remind them that we won.
Okay. Tim in the Loop.
Simple.
You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, it's just people were to vote their conscience more and think about what they're doing and look into the future, then we wouldn't have, two political parties, one on the far right, one on the far left, trying to run our lives. We would take control of it as voters, because I think when you look at what corporate America wants to do. They basically want to take us all into a $9 an hour kind of wage situation, and the left want to tell us how to eat, how to live, and how to literally to believe. So I mean, I think people need to vote looking into the future. I do believe that conservative values will win out in that vein, but I mean, I still think we need to retain unions. We still need to retain freedom. We still need to retain our own autonomy while we elect good politicians. That's my comment.
Thanks for the call, Tim. Appreciate that. Fair comment. Toby in Wheaton.
I'm calling because I've been to Berlin and I've seen Nazi monuments. I've seen communist walls coming down. There's memorials throughout Germany and Europe. And I find it very ironic that these socialists want to be like Europe, and they have no problem preserving the worst history.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Toby. Appreciate that. Tim in Woodstock.
Hi, good morning, Dan and Amy. It seems like to me that the fourth branch of government, which today is mainstream media, bypasses what should be state and local control. And they do it by creating kind of a rush of emotion where leaders trip over each other to get in front of a microphone and condemn whatever the latest hysteria is that they've created. And, when Lincoln, after the war, he had a lot of affection for his brothers from the South. He considered them fellow Americans. They were wrong. But he wanted us to show no malice toward them. And, when I look at those statues, that's the way I think of them. I think there was, as if to say that there was nobody from the South who disagreed with slavery or were fighting for different reasons. It was a complicated thing. And, when we do this, we just lose, as you guys have well brought out, all historical perspective and a chance to learn from history.
Thanks, Tim.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Napa know-how.
If your car's due up for an oil change, but you've been holding out till Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil was on sale for just $5.79 a quart, does that mean you've been patient or you've been procrastinating? Either way, your procrastination just paid off, because you can get Mobil 1 full synthetic for just $5.79 a quart. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 8/31/17.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
Hey, if your kids haven't started back to school yet, they will be in a matter of days, and it's hard to believe that it's that time of year again. But for some parents, it's not exactly good news, especially if you're not happy with your child's school or teacher. Maybe the issue is bullying or Common Core or maybe transgender bathrooms. Well, maybe it's time to make the switch this school year and send your child to a private school. And you can make that switch for half the price of the regular tuition when you visit halfpriceschools.com. You can find a local school near you and purchase the full year tuition for half the price. There's no catch. There's places in Orland Hills, Mount Prospect, Oak Lawn, Palatine, Antioch, Chicago, just to name a few. So the school year is upon us. Do not wait another day, and don't settle for a public school that isn't right for you and your child. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Dan Proft here with an important message for Chicagoland business owners. If you own or rent your building, chances are that you're paying more than your fair share of property taxes. Ask yourself this question. If you could lower your property taxes with the help of licensed professionals who have an 80% average success rate, yes, you heard that right, an 80% success rate, lowering business owners' property taxes, would you do that? Corporate Valuation Advisors has reduced their clients' property taxes on average by 20% over their 25-year service history throughout the greater Chicagoland area. Here's a Corporate Valuation Advisor's recent property tax savings success story from a local Chicago business owner. Their first year of property tax savings equaled $26,265. The total four-year property tax savings equaled $104,679. Call Corporate Valuation Advisors. They can help. 630-923-5371. That's 630-923-5371. You can also find them at yourfairtax.com or visit 560theanswer.com and look for the Corporate Valuation Advisors banner.
One of the biggest fears for retirees and soon-to-be retirees, do I have enough? Do I have enough money to last for the rest of my life? I hear it every day when I meet with individuals, and it's for good reason. Check this statistic out. If you were born in 1800, you could expect to live until you were 39 years old. In 1900, 49. That number jumped to 68 in 1950, and today it's 79. How many people do you know that are in their 80s, in their 90s? Hi, this is Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. here on AM 560. So how do you help ensure you never run out of money in retirement? The answers are in our special report, Maximizing Income in Retirement. In this powerful report, you'll discover successful tools and strategies on how to help turbocharge your income in retirement and how to position and protect your money regardless of what happens in the stock market. Call now to receive this report, Maximizing Income in Retirement, and will include 6 strategies to tax-free income. Call the Alpha Wealth Group, 630-519-4742 right now to receive your free report. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
AM 560.
The Answer. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What about the Frederick Douglass statues? Do those get to stay up? I'll explain why that could be in controversy in this New Jerusalem in which we live at 8:38.
And I'll explain why backlash is growing over President Trump's Charlottesville remarks. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, President Trump heads to Camp David today. He'll convene a national security summit on Afghanistan and the North Korean nuclear crisis. Police in Barcelona, Spain, looking for an 18-year-old man they believe drove a van into a crowd yesterday, killing 14, injuring more than 100. Authorities believe he got away in another vehicle now, and police arrested 3 men, including the brother of the man they're hunting. Meantime, Spanish police killed 5 men suspected of trying to launch another terror attack. Authorities say the attack in the beach city of Cambril injured 7, including 1 police officer. There is a multinational investigation breaking out of San Diego after the remains of more than 120 have been found in Tijuana. Special branch of the Mexican Attorney General's office said Thursday that the remains that they're now investigating are believed to be connected to a drug cartel member who was arrested in 2009. The cartel member went by the name of El Pozolero, or Stewmaker, a high-level hitman for the Sinaloa drug cartel who would dissolve bodies in acid. El Pozolero has admitted to officials he killed more than 300. The statue of Roger Taney is gone from the State House grounds in Annapolis, Maryland. Crews were working to remove the monument shortly after midnight. Taney was Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court who authored the 1857 Dred Scott decision upholding slavery. Authorities are investigating an early morning shooting on Chicago's Dan Ryan Expressway. A victim showed up at Holy Cross Hospital after being struck by gunfire near the 59th Street exit. A man injured after a shooting at the CTA Red Line station in Chicago's Loop. It happened yesterday evening. The victim shot in the left arm and ankle. A statue of President Abraham Lincoln damaged. Statue at the corner of 69th and Walcott on the south side. Earlier this week, someone wrapped the statue in tar paper and lit it on fire. Reds outslugged the Cubs 13-10 at Wrigley Field. Rangers over the White Sox 9-8. Bears tackle the Cardinals in the NFL preseason tomorrow. The news, a service of Dove Men Plus Care. Have you heard that 91% of the guys that use Dove Men Plus Care, antiperspirant, recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care user Rob said it's like the Hoover Dam, but for his armpits. Well, if it can hold back that much sweat, it must be good. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. 8:34. Check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
8:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens is fine inbound now. It's 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. Inbound Kennedy, heavy Montrose to the Burn Circle. 41 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 31 from Montrose, 28 in the Express. Outbound 12 minutes to Montrose, 25 to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, slow North Avenue to the Tri-State and Harlem to the Circle. 43 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 34. Inbound Stevenson delays start at Harlem. 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes, 8094 to Merge, I-57's at 20. Tri-State southbound, still a bit tight, 120 to Atkinson. Northbound from the Stevenson to 47th. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. And Oakton to Dempster. There is some police activity on eastbound Dempster. Veterans Memorial, heavy southbound Army Trail to St. Charles. Northbound slows 75th, most of the way to Roosevelt. No delays to report on I-80 or Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next with Dan and Amy, your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Breezy, pleasant. We'll have sun and clouds mixed throughout the day, high 82. Currently 69. Next news coming up at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show. Tune in on Saturday mornings at 8 to learn how you might fight foreclosure and keep your home.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so when does the Robert Byrd statue at the U.S. Capitol get taken down?
Well, Nancy Pelosi is going to move it herself, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a question I think should be asked, shouldn't it? Robert Byrd, KKK, Kleagle, when does that statue get taken down? And also, you know, I mean, West Virginia can handle whatever they've named in his honor themselves. But at the U.S. Capitol, that's everybody's. So what about the Robert Byrd statue there? I haven't heard any Democrats talk about that. Also this. I mean, I know you're very concerned about people's political affiliation. Frederick Douglass, escaped slave. He was a Republican. Yeah. A Republican. Yeah. For Douglass, this is from a speech by Lucas Morrill on Frederick Douglass that's recounted in Imprimis. If you're not getting Imprimis from Hillsdale College, which is free, you should sign up for it, Imprimis. Morrill recounts, for Douglass, the only relevant minority in America is the minority of one, the individual. The government of all should be partial to none. He saw the protection of specific groups or classes would lead government away from protecting individual rights and towards assigning benefits and burdens. Frederick Douglass, escaped slave, great orator, great American, Republican. What about Frederick Douglass, though? He's not aligned with the zeitgeist of group identity politics and benefits and burdens of the day. He's got to be erased from history too, doesn't he? For not going along with group identity politics, not believing in it, since we're applying the left standards of today as the standards for all time.
I used to sub it at Frederick Douglass Middle School. They'll have to change the name.
That's coming down, and he's a Republican. There's this escaped slave, Frederick Douglass. He's got.
Did you hear what one pundit? Speaking of Republicans, one pundit on MSNBC called it the Republic Klan Party.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, America KKKA, right?
Yeah.
Reverend Wright? Reverend Flager? Right. America KKKA. Yay. Right? All it's got to go. All you whiteys out there and Republicans and anybody who's not part of a self-identified group, self-identification group, and doesn't have a grievance against whiteness in general, even in the abstract. Time to go. But this isn't going to go anywhere bad. This has no possibility to careen into something much bigger than skirmishes on college campuses or even a murder in Charlottesville. No, it won't get bigger than that. Okay. Rob in Brookfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. I guess first, thank you all policemen, servicemen, and emergency responders out there. And then my point was more, how come you don't hear anybody suggest, really turning it into a history lesson and, next to these statues that people don't like, erecting, like heroes of the Underground Railroad or, all these towns have, some sort of local hero, I'm sure, that they could, put the counter to the story and really turn this into an educational thing for everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, right. Yeah. No, I mean, thanks for the call, Rob. I agree with that. Or if the statues that exist provide more context. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Jeff in Mundelein.
Morning, Dan. Good morning, Queen.
Queen.
Oh.
Yeah, Queen of Hearts.
Right, Queen of Hearts. Yeah.
My comment is that it starts with the Confederate statues, going to move to the Washington Monument and the Jefferson Memorial. But what's the ultimate goal of the left that everybody's missing here? No one's bringing it up. The Constitution. Who wrote it?
No, that's
the ultimate goal.
Yeah, I brought it up. Yeah, I brought it up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Yeah, but I know where you're going, Jeff. End of history. History starts today. So that means if history starts today, all those founding documents from all those bad people, those are out the window. And so you have the New York UCLA critical race studies professor writing the New York Times today about curtailing the First Amendment, chastising the ACLU for their defense of the free speech rights of extremists, of hate mongers. Okay. But this can't careen out of control. Tommy in Oak Lawn.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Yeah, I heard that now the liberals want to remove all the pyramids in Egypt because the Egyptians held slaves for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And Hillary's starting to fundraise as we speak.
Thanks for the call, Tommy. I mean, and by the way, this also doesn't excuse rewriting history as Donald Trump did with General John Pershing.
Yeah, he tweeted about it yesterday about, after the Barcelona attack, of course, he said, our hearts go out to them. We'll do whatever we can to help you. Be tough and strong. We love you. And then moments later, an hour later, he tweeted, study what General Pershing of the United States did to terrorists when caught. There is no more radical Islamic terror, or there is no more radical Islamic terror for 35 years. And that is something that he brought up on the campaign trail, remember?
And he took the 50 terrorists and he took 50 men and he dipped 50 bullets in pig's blood. You heard that, right?
So that a military myth that did not happen. General Pershing never dipped bullets in pig's blood and never shot at Islamic terrorists. So.
Well, yeah, this is the allegedly the apocryphal story is the Philippine-American War at the beginning of the 20th century. And right, that story is totally unverified. It's mythology. And it also, by the way, David French and others have pointed this out.
Yeah.
It accuses a national hero, here we go again, national heroes, but he is one, General Pershing, who led the expeditionary forces in World War I, of war crimes. And you also, I mean, that's what those would be if he executed people. You don't execute prisoners. We don't.
No.
And then the president cheerleading that idea is another problem.
Well, you think he'd learn from the campaign trail that was, again, a military myth, but he didn't. So it's just another example of the lack of self-control.
He was called on it during the campaign because he said that at a rally in Charleston, South Carolina, in February of 2016, and he was called on it by the Washington Post at the time. Why he feels the need to resuscitate that lie is beyond me. It's unhelpful, and being ahistorical is a problem. Being ignorant of history, making up stories or repeating stories that have been debunked, and is also a problem, particularly if you're the President of the United States. I mean, it's embarrassing, and that's disgraceful what he said. Let's just keep it real clean. Not Terry and Niles. You're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Perry.
I'm sorry?
As in, yeah. I really thought it would be harder to get through. I wish it was harder to get through. There's not enough people listening to you guys.
Well,
I
agree.
If we start history today, we would be more primitive than North Korea because they started it like 100 years ago. Okay, is that what you want?
Thanks for the call. I completely agree with you. The false belief that most people have that the latest point in time is the most advanced point in time, because it's the most advanced point in time technologically than it is in terms of civilization. Wrong. Shall we discuss the barbarism that we see around us?
I got a great text message. Today, monuments, tomorrow, libraries. When history is completely erased, life will be like a beer commercial.
Yes. A beer commercial that you'll watch from a gulag. Robert in Palos Park.
Good morning, Dan. I can listen to Amy now. I'm out of the bathtub. 38 years ago, when I joined AA, my sponsor told me, remember your last drunk. Because if you don't remember your last drunk, you haven't had it yet. I remember, and I don't want to go back to what I was doing to myself.
Okay.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Robert. Interesting perspective. I get it. Charlotte in Arlington Heights.
Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think the whole issue is states' rights. That's what we have to learn from the Civil War. This power struggle between the states and the federal government. We had to throw out the Articles of Confederation because it didn't give the federal government enough power. And today we have the opposite occurring. The federal government taking over our schools, our banks through Dodd-Frank, and our health care through the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. We have a lot to learn from the Civil War.
Well, we have a lot to learn from the Continental Congresses as well, which you're describing. Thanks for the call, Charlotte.
What about Civil War reenactments?
Do you want to do one? I'll be Grant and you'll be Lee. Do you want to?
No, you be Lee. I'll be Grant. It's the only way I'm going to do it, Dan.
I'm not used to losing.
Well, get used to it, okay?
How about?
All right, I'll be Frank Underwood.
You can. He was not in the Civil War.
Oh,
you could be.
He was great.
You be Grant.
Okay.
I should be Lincoln, obviously.
Oh yeah, because you're Abraham Lincoln.
I just kicked myself upstairs, and then we'll have our program director Marcus Brown can be Lee.
Okay. Oh yeah.
He's an equestrian. So okay, all right.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get some listeners involved too. We'll do a little civil reenactment.
Right on the front front lawn here.
Bussy Woods.
Yeah.
We'll get Bussy Woods some weekend. We'll do a Civil War reenactment. Live rounds.
But tell people that they're fake rounds. Yeah.
So to make it sporting.
Okay.
So kind of.
We could ride the elk too. Those could be our horses.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought now that I'm thinking about that Civil War reenactment. Could be a fun weekend. Megan in Whiting, Indiana.
Hi, guys. I heard Diamond and Silk say this yesterday on your show at the very end of their interview, but does nobody else realize that this is the Democrats trying to erase their history?
Well, that's a part of it, isn't it? Thanks for the call, Megan.
I think these young protesters have no idea what party affiliation Lincoln was or anybody, really.
Yeah, they're blunt instruments, carrying blunt instruments. Kurt in Park Ridge.
Hi, guys. This is all the fault of our school system. For the last 30 years, they've been teaching our kids that everything this country has done is wrong. Our founding fathers are bad. And it's all our chickens have come home to roost.
Okay, Reverend Wright. Thanks for the call, Kurt.
Come on.
Annie in Lakeview.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you for taking my call.
Pleasure.
I can't believe that this subject was brought up. Yeah, I think the Civil War should be revisited. And the reason I wanted
Which side are you going to be on?
revisited is because the symbolic dates. It was started Easter, Passover. Lincoln was shot Good Friday, Passover, Easter, and it ended Passover, Easter. What was the meaning of all that?
But I thanks for the call. I'm going to have to think about that. I'm going to have to, as usual.
Homework assignment for you this weekend.
And, Annie's calls are always thinkers.
Mhm.
They leave me a bit befuddled.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Depression. You need to make it go away. Cure or remission is here. The revolutionary treatment of TMS. 800-604-0208. TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive. Here's how it works. There are areas of the brain that control mood. If you suffer from depression, research has found these areas to be underactive. TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate these mood centers, causing long-term, medication-free relief. HBR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin offer TMS. End the frustration with life and relationships.
It's FDA cleared and it is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare.
Dangerous drugs and other treatments just mask the depression. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation.
800-604-0208.
HBR centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content on our digital platform that complements what we do here. Original long-form interviews like this week featuring Senator Ted Cruz. Yes, Ted Cruz, you want to check that out. Podcast of Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, focused on school funding this week. 60 seconds of sanity commentaries from yours truly, as well as our new segment, Heart of the Matter. A new series we've launched. Professional women discussing the salient issues of the day, colleague to colleague. And Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments this week on single-payer health care. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Tasty Catering is bringing outdoor happiness to you and your coworkers this picnic season.
Down-home barbecue, street tacos, sausages and sandwiches, steaks, chops, fish, Greek feasts, pig roasts. The list goes on.
Tasty Catering picnic foods are more deliciously sophisticated than ever. With so many great options, everyone will be happy.
Organic, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, and dairy-free options never tasted so picnicky.
And your picnic doesn't stop with amazing freshly grilled food. Entertainment, rentals, decor, venue selection. Get everything you need with one single call to Tasty Catering.
Inflatables and crafts for the kids, games and athletics for the teenagers, beverage packages and entertainment options for the adults. There's so much to choose from.
The best company picnics start at TastyCatering.com. View picnic menus, entertainment options, picnic spots, and more. Visit TastyCatering.com. TastyCatering.com.
Holly from Hudson. Let's reenact the Civil War. I'll be Grant and you can be Lee. Best pickup line ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one, Holly. She's awesome. What also is awesome is a great night's sleep. You need to treat yourself to one, and to get a guaranteed great night's sleep, you need a pillow from MyPillow. It's made here in America. Mike Lindell uses only American labor. He loves his pillow so much, believes in it so much that there's a 10-year warranty on that bad boy and a 60-day money-back guarantee. And through the month of August, you can take part in the 50% off the 4-pack. That's 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. And again, you can move the fill to give you the exact support you need. I like it because you can throw it in the washer and dryer when it gets dirty or sweaty. And there, again, is that 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by going to MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo
Message
code
and
Amy.
data rates may apply.
What does home security look like in 2017? It's not strangers drilling holes in your walls. It's not big names making empty promises. In 2017, thanks to some out-of-the-box thinking, FrontPoint Home Security is 100% wireless with cellular monitoring and is ready to set up right out of the box. Plus, it's backed up by the best customer service in the industry. Experience the next generation of home security with FrontPoint. For a free quote, text the keyword FAMILY to 642-642. FrontPoint can be controlled right from your smartphone, so you can remotely control your lights, thermostat, and door locks. With text and email alerts, live video streaming, night vision, and professional monitoring 24/7, your home is protected with us. Ready, set, secure. It's that easy. Protect your family right out of the box with FrontPoint. We deliver it, you unbox it. For your free quote, text FAMILY to 642-642 on your smartphone. That's FAMILY to 642-642.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
If you think all banks are the same, it's time to think about Signature Bank Chicago. I'm Pete Olson, head of commercial banking at Signature Bank, where the people who own the bank operate the bank. Not in an abstract way, but in the same hands-on, personalized way that you run your business. We don't rely on a legion of business developers to find new relationships. We don't trust an outsourced phone bank to address your customer service needs, and we don't delegate decision-making to some anonymous credit committee that you'll never meet. We do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. Call us today to see the Signature Bank difference.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The number one fear amongst retirees today is running out of money in retirement. And that's with good reason, because the last thing you want to be is 75 years old, full of life, and flat broke. Hi, this is Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. here on AM 560. Today, we're living longer than ever before, so your retirement savings has to last 2, 3, even 4 decades. So how do you safely generate more income in retirement without risking everything you've worked for in the stock market? And what can you do to help ensure you never run out of money in retirement? The answer's in our free retirement income planning packet. It's packed full of little-known strategies on how to generate income in retirement, getting the most from Social Security, minimize taxes, and reduce the risk of outliving your income. You don't need to take unnecessary risks to generate income in retirement, and I'll prove it to you. You have a lot more options to generate income in retirement. You just didn't know they existed until now. Call the Alpha Wealth Group, 630-519-4742, right now to receive your free report. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I guess we're going to have to do the vagina opening story next week.
Yeah, and the manscaping, the perils of manscaping.
The two are connected. It's not just manscaping, it's personal grooming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's us
dangerous.
too. But yeah,
But I'm just going to tease that
Well, here's
story.
the headline. Woman born without vagina raises money for a procedure allowing her to have sex.
Don't tell me how it ends. I'll wait till Monday.
All right. Well, thanks so much for making us part of your work week. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical director, and of course...
Hey, who will play General McClellan when we do our Civil War reenactment, by the way?
Yes, and what's Keith Conrad going to do? What role is Keith Conrad? Because he's had a wonderful week here
Jefferson
at AM
Davis.
560. Oh, he's going to be Jefferson Davis. And I'll be working
You got to have Confederates. I mean, look, somebody's got to take the hard parts.
I'm going to grow a beard over the weekend so I can look like Grant.
Yeah, and put on a few pounds, too.
Thanks so much. Have a great, safe, happy, and healthy weekend. Now here is Mike Scott.
Nobody wants